Are you doing the intro or am I?
Yeah, I am pro royalty. It's not that hard. It's turn based. It's not that complex. All right, ahem. Welcome to Megazord Radio, the weekly podcast where we watch and we talk about Power Rangers and we rank the episodes. That's not the exact phrasing that's written down, but that's close enough. I'm your host. I'm your host, Riely, joined, of course, by Crow Royalty.
The Gay Lord.
Oh my god, it's not funny anymore. We're 3 episodes in. Get a new bit.
No, that is my bit. That is my title for the entirety of season 1. I will come up with another one in season 2.
Oh my god, I cannot deal with that for fucking 20 some odd episodes of podcast. I really
Dude, you're gonna deal with it either way on Issue Crew movie reviews. Plugging that, by the way.
Stop. Just no more. Spare me from this hell, Crow Royalty.
I am the Gay Lord.
Damn it. I can't escape this. I'm already committed. It's over. Like, Crow Royalty has captured me now. Like, he's just gonna slowly torture me, and someday I'm gonna it's gonna click for me 15 years later. I'm gonna be like, maybe I just never should have started a podcast with Crow Royalty, but by that point it'll be too late. I'll have been entangled in your web.
I've already entangled you in my web of podcasting.
No. I'm supposed to be the one who entangles people in podcasting webs. It's my thing.
I am the podcasting god, apparently. That might be my new bit.
The podcasting god, Crow Royalty? Wow.
The podcasting god, Crow Royalty. What a title.
What a fucking title. I called myself the podcast guy for a while, but I've never quite claimed to be a podcast god.
I am the god of podcasting. Anyway.
Well, gamers, this time we don't have an entire other movie to review first, so I guess we could just get right into the fucking meat and potatoes of Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers. And Crow, I will just say, this is a preview. We'll see if Crow immediately figures out what I'm talking about or if the reveal hits him at the end. Crow believes something about me as it pertains to the episodes we're speaking about today that is untrue. An audience, you will find out what that is soon. Crow, you will also find out what that is soon if you didn't figure it out.
No, I didn't.
You have a preconceived notion about me that has something to do with these episodes that was not accurate.
Well, the fact that one of them says the weapon's wrong, you have complained about multiple times.
Yeah, the weapons being wrong. We'll talk about the weapons. Trust me, we'll talk about the weapons.
Anyway, so
tell me about episode 5 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Goddamn.
What?
This may be my favorite episode so far. I'm putting that out there right now. But different drum written by...
I would like to point out that we do have a segment that we do after
I know. I'm going to elaborate more on why it is my favorite at the end. I'm just putting that out there now.
I'm just saying, why would you put it out there now when we have the ranking segment? And
because I can.
Kept as a surprise for the ranking segment when you have an opinion about where an episode is ranked.
Anyway, so this episode was written by Julianne Clem. Julianne Clem. It's Klemm. It's weird. And then
why would it be Clam then? It's Clem.
That's how I said it the first time, and then my brain's like, no, it's Clam.
Sure.
But it is directed by Jeffrey Rayner, and it aired on September 10th. It air dated on September 10th, 1993. And then again on January 16th of 2010.
Crow turned to Coda for a minute. He was like, "It air date is."
It air date is. I am Coda.
What a great guy that Coda is, man! I've been watching Power Rangers.
We can't talk about Dino Charge. This is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Hey, listen, we can talk about whatever the fuck we want. First of all, it's spoiler light. Second of all, just talking about the existence of a season is not a spoiler. Dino Charge, very good, actually. I'm interested to see I'm interested to see where Supercharge goes. Crow claims that it does get immediately bad. Some other friends have told me that it does. Some other friends have told me that it's pretty objectively worse than Dino Charge, but it's still fun. It's still fun and good, and I trust the people that said that. So we'll see.
It's not bad. It's just not good.
It is definitely the most I've been like enthralled and interested in a modern season. Like,
oh yeah, that's
kind of unfair. It's kind of unfair specifically to Beast Morphers because I've heard you and a bunch of people talk shit about it. I've heard just as many people say how great it is. I haven't
Riely,
seen.
Now that you have seen RPM, I need you to go watch Beast Morphers and tell me that they didn't fuck up.
Now that I've seen 18 episodes of RPM, you want me to jump right?
Oh wait,
over
I thought you finished RPM finally.
No,
I thought you finished RPM finally. Go finish RPM and then go watch Beast Morphers. You'll see what we're talking about.
Yeah, but so I don't know anything about Beast Morphers, but I've seen at least some of every other season. And no season since like RPM has really caught me. But the exception is Dino Charge, because I'm in. I'm in for real, baby. Like even if it gets bad from here, it was still a Power Ranger season that got me in. So it does better than some others already. And it's very good. And I'm glad that Neo Saban did one good thing.
Neo Saban did one good thing. That is Dino Charge.
Yes, okay. For a minute, I thought you were
I misheard you. I at first thought you were talking about Hasbro for a minute, and then I'm like, wait, why'd you say Neo Saban?
Yeah,
and then Hasbro, I realized what you actually said, and I'm like, wait, we're talking about Dino Charge again. I was like, if Hasbro did one good thing, it's the movie that shall not be named at the moment, because it's still too early.
Well, I mean that, and I also am okay with Dino Fury so far. We'll see how worse it gets. But Dino Charge is good.
Dino Charge do be good. Ninja Steel.
I'm happy about that. I thought you liked Ninja Steel.
What?
I feel like you've told me that you think Ninja Steel is okay.
I hate exactly two things that ruin Ninja Steel from being a good season.
Okay, shut up, because I know it's all ninja. It's all fucking ninja history.
No, it's Monty.
Bullshit. Oh, okay.
No, it's Monty.
That's fair.
If Monty and what's his face did not exist, Ninja Steel would be a good season.
Well, I don't think that their existence is enough to ruin a season.
That so, and
I would argue that the
of a Zoojer villain that kind of pissed me off.
Season.
That and they also
they are not good in this season. Usually. I'm sorry, I just talked over you completely and you continued to talk and I don't think either of us heard either of us. So let's just do it again. Crow Royalty, what did you say?
I said that and they also stole a Zoojer villain, but they actually tried to make it their own instead of just stealing the suit entirely like they did in Dino Fury. I think his name's Carazo? No. The announcer guy. The guy's just stolen from another season entirely. I have no qualms really with the Rangers or the villains. It's just that guy, Monty, what's his face? Oh yeah, and Brody being face blind like a motherfucker.
Yeah, I don't know the details. I'm probably going to watch Ninja Steel fairly soon, so I don't want to know the details.
You should, but you don't want to know the details of Brody's face blindness because it hits you like a truck.
Yeah, but fuck, what did I say? What did I already say that Crow Royalty didn't hear? You know, I have to pay some respect to Crow Royalty because I do podcasts with people where it is. I deal with the type of people where it is painfully necessary to interrupt people or you will never talk. So it's just second nature at this point. And you know, there's a varied spread. There's not a varied spread, actually. There's about 2 reactions I usually get. 1 is the person will stop talking. 2 is the person will get mad and yell. Crow, you are among the few who will just unaffected continue to talk. Even though we're the only 2 in the call, and there's no way either of us is comprehending what the other is saying, as we both continue to say our sentence.
You want to know why that is?
Why?
It's part of the ADHD in my brain that just does not pick
You
up that
did
you have
not
started
register
talking.
that I have started to speak. We got to work on that, Crow. We got to try.
Yes, we do, but that's a problem even in class. So,
But all
okay,
right, gamers. Let's talk about different drum now.
let's talk about God.
So we start off at the juice bar. It's good. Get ready for that sentence about 140 more times.
Oh, I'll give it a minute.
So Kim is teaching a dance class. Jason, Zach, and Trini are at the bar. Jason and Trini are arm wrestling, which is fun. Ernie enters with, I believe, a cart that contains towels, is what this is.
Yes, he does.
Okay.
And he's also doing his fancy little jig as he walks
He's
around.
doing his little Ernie dance because he's a big goof.
And god damn, this man.
He's such a
This
goof.
is the best introduction of this episode.
I love Ernie.
I do too.
So Ernie's grooving. He's got his towel cart. Billy is also trying to groove, but he's not doing very good. He bumps into Ernie. Then he trips over something.
It's like one of those step mats or like the stepping blocks that you will see at the gym. And they're like doing dances over that, and Billy's just like trying to keep up and ends up tripping over it.
I don't think Billy is in the class. I think he's just watching the class and he's just like dancing at the side.
Well, given the fact that he is actually using the equipment of the class, I think he is in it.
What equipment of the class is he using? The step stool was there, but it didn't look like he was actively using it for anything. He was not.
No, he was doing the step ups and step downs and shit that everybody else. Yeah, that everybody else was doing.
It looked like he was just kind of doing like a twist.
No, he was trying to keep up with everybody, but failing miserably.
Okay.
He was trying. He was in not the right place. It did not
seem like Billy was like with everyone else. It seemed like he was off to the side.
Well,
and then the way Kimberly reacts to his incoming shenanigans seems to imply that she was not fully aware of his presence.
I think she kind of just forgot that he was in the class. I think she kind of just forgot that he was in the class.
Or maybe there are more of these step stool devices available in the juice bar separate from this dance class. And the fact that Billy has one does not necessarily mean he is part of the dance class.
But my other reason for thinking that he is a part of the dance class is because he has shown interest in physical activities. He's just not exactly skilled at them yet, similar to how he was with Jason's karate class in episode 1.
But Billy also later in this episode is trepidatious to dance in public, which is why I assume
he is trepidatious to dance again after the event that happened earlier.
Maybe.
That's my logic.
This is the completely logistical. Whether or not Billy is in the class holds literally zero weight to the plot or anything important. So I don't know why we're dwelling on it so hard.
It has nothing to do with the episode, aside from we just both have our own opinions on it, and it's a fun topic.
Yeah, it does. What is Billy in the class? Let us know in the comments. We haven't gotten any comments yet.
Yeah, I'm very surprised because I checked the comments earlier while I was listening to the other two podcasts.
I wouldn't be surprised. Surprised isn't the word I would use. I
would.
I guarantee you 0 people have finished an episode of this podcast so far. Like we have like 10 views per episode. But I bet
most of them are from me.
I bet if I go to viewer retention, they're all like 5 seconds long. And the ones that aren't are you and me.
No, there's me. I have listened to the first 2 episodes at least 3 times on 3 different platforms. To a majority.
3 hours?
3 sets of 3 hours.
Times?
As many times as I was physically able to, because I would put them on before I went to sleep and just listen to them as I went to sleep.
Okay, so you didn't actually listen to all of it.
No, I ended up waking up to me freaking out about ninja shit in episode 2 multiple times.
It's the weirdest shit to wake up to podcasts. I don't like go to sleep to podcasts because I'm too like my brain is too fixated on like finishing everything I consume from start to finish and not missing any of it. So,
Well, it's our podcast, so it's not exactly
oh
like we have
yeah,
a
no.
problem.
I understand. It's less of a deal if it's your own podcast. In fact, I think I have fallen asleep to my own podcast once or twice before.
I fell asleep
Um,
to our episode of the Issue Crew podcast the other night.
yeah, okay.
Like,
But I don't go to sleep with podcasts on. Is the point I was making
well,
usually.
yeah.
And it's the weirdest shit to wake up to podcasts. Cause like sometimes, I'm really tired and I'll just be like in my bed listening to a podcast and I will fall asleep by accident. And then I wake up and podcasts are playing. And first of all, it's a big inconvenience because then I have to go re-download any of the episodes that finished as I was sleeping, and figure out where I was and all of that shit. And also, it's really disorienting to wake up and suddenly hear the voice of a man, and my brain is just like, whom is this? And then it's like, oh, it's Jake Mason from Morphin Grid. Okay, got it.
Okay, so that's you, and then there's my idiotic self that either turns on ASMR or I turn on podcasts
Oh
to go
my
to sleep
god, you actually listen to ASMR?
while I'm asleep. Yes.
Does it like do something for you? Does it
No.
actually serve a practical purpose?
No, not really. It just keeps me from listening to heavy metal while I sleep.
Yo, that's the vibe. That would go hard. Just like, everybody's like, what do you do? What do you do when you go to sleep? I listen to ASMR. I put on ocean noises. And maybe I got a humidifier I turn on next to me. I listen to heavy metal.
I did that for like the longest time, by the way.
That's rad. That's fucking sick. That's how a real man goes to sleep. Is to
I
the
was like
sounds of heavy
13.
metal.
But the reason that I stopped doing it is because I didn't want like uh incredible ear damage.
Yeah, perhaps would be a bad thing.
So I kind of stopped with it and I went to
I can see
ASMR because
that
it's a
like
lot
literally
quieter.
I can see that working because it does tune out like the rest of the world. And like I guess if you're listening to music you're familiar with, it's kind of easy for it to just like fade into the background of your brain. So I feel like
Yeah,
it's actually a viable sleeping method to just like put on a playlist of songs and just like put in headphones because then it's like drowning out the rest of the world. Then your brain drowns out the song because you've heard it a million times and it kind of just like drifts into sleep.
yeah, and that's kind of the way that I listen to ASMR on Spotify while I'm sleeping is it's like specific tracks that are like just static noise, basically. It's not like TV static, but it's like just little bits of noise that I've heard a million times over that I just kind of tune out after a little bit and it just tunes out the rest of the world with it.
I guess I do kind of get like how noises will make it easier to sleep because I've never seeked it out, but I definitely have noticed that like if it's raining really hard, I sleep better because of like the white
Yeah.
noise, the raindrops. So I guess in that way I get it.
Yeah, but then there's also the part of there used to be a fuck ton of crickets that used to stay around my house, and I would fall asleep on the front porch listening to crickets as a little kid.
Nah, crickets would wake me up. Fuck crickets. They just
No,
shut
no,
the.
no. We had like you know like the movie crickets that are like
What do you mean the
really
movie crickets?
that are
What do
like
you mean by
really like serene and quiet-ish and like really easy to like lull away to.
I've never noticed a discernible difference between crickets in movies and crickets in real life.
No, no. Okay, okay. It's not like the crickets that you hear when shit's fucking awkward and everything's gone silent. It's the crickets that you would hear in like scene of like a romance movie basically that are like it's weird to describe. This is
Okay,
really weird to describe.
sure.
Anyway, where were we in the episode? We need to go back to that. We have
Hold on,
yeah,
so I've decided the new thing so I don't ever forget. Because the problem I had with Omnitrix Radio, which is a show that will come back eventually, folks, don't worry. But
eventually.
the problem I had
Meaning,
with Omnitrix Radio was sometimes we did joke titles just like this show. We would think of a joke that we made on the show, whether it had something to do with the episode itself or whether it was just like a joke that we made separately. So now what I'm going to try to remember to do as we go on is keep a list of possible titles based on jokes that we make. And I will not be outward with it every time I put something down because that would become annoying and ruin all the jokes. But every once in a while I might point it out. And I will say that the first thing going on possible titles for this episode is Cricket Cast. Because we did just talk about crickets for 10 minutes. So that's the first thing on the list. This episode might be called Cricket Cast if we don't find anything better.
No, it needs to be called The Best Episode.
Well, maybe. We'll see about that. But anyway, folks, let me tell you more of a different drum. So Billy trips. He falls onto the tower. The tower? Wow.
The towel rack, or the towel cart, whatever it's called.
He fell into the towel cart. And he starts rolling across the room. Now, as this is happening, Zach and Trini are watching like this unfold, and they're just smiling. Like they're just
that's what I do.
Themselves.
That's what I do. If it were me, I would have 100% pulled out my phone and just started recording this man because holy shit, Billy did some fucking stunts.
This is a realistic way for teenage friends to act, but it's real weird for the Power. Like that's why I like this episode a lot. Spoilers, guys. I like this episode a lot too. I know I haven't been very outward with it. Crow has, but yes, I do very much like this episode. And a very big, maybe even the whole part of it for me specifically is how real of a teens they feel like in this episode as compared to other episodes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But they're watching, they're just smiling. They have like a look on their face, just like, oh shit, here it comes. And you know, Billy's rolling around aimlessly. And then he crashes in the locker room. But somehow that just covers him in toilet paper and he's sent backwards back into the juice bar.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then at the end he wipes out, he hits a wall, he falls, he almost hits Kim, but Kim gets out of the way. Zach and Trini react, they have like ooh, like a ugh facial expression. But then Trini just turns to Zach and smiles.
Yeah.
And I love this so much.
On another note, something dumb that I had initially, for whatever reason, thought because of how they were acting in this episode, was there tension between these two that we just didn't know about?
I mean,
and then I brushed it off.
It does literally become canon in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Pink, so.
Yeah, but Jason and Trini is also canon in a different Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comic, so.
Oh shit! Beans.
Like
well,
I take
Pink is TV show canon. The regular style Boom Studios comic are their own separate canon, but Pink is also its own separate canon because it does have smartphones in it, but it is more closely associated with the show than it is the Boom Comics universe.
Aside from the fact that Kat appears way earlier than she should have in the timeline.
That's not true. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Pink takes place during Season 3 of Power Rangers when Kim is no longer a Power Ranger, exactly when Catherine is introduced into the show.
I thought it was in Season 1 because the way that it was, the way that it looked to me was like it was in Season 1. I was really confused.
They were using like Dino powers, I think.
Yeah, and that's what lost me. Is like that's Season 1. Shit.
What was it that? I don't remember the plot, but there was obviously a reason. I don't remember what that reason was, but there was obviously a reason. And yeah, so it did take place during Season 3 because it was literally Kimberly was in France doing the Pan Global Games.
Oh, yeah.
In Florida, not in France. France is where her parents live. Florida is the Pan Globals. But yeah, so that's the haps on the comics and Zach and Trini's real ship in the comics. Which
and
wait,
why would Zach and Trini be there at that point then?
What do you mean? Zach and Trini were the plot of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Pink is Kimberly runs into some like monsters or whatever in some like town that are terrorizing it. And the Power Rangers are off planet on a mission, the regular Power Rangers. So somehow Zordon repowers Kimberly and Zach and Trini along with two randos. So Zach and Trini are in the story.
So Jason doesn't get to come back, but
yes,
Zach
Jason is busy, is what Zordon says.
So wait, does that make Omega Rangers canon to that comic?
I mean, no, because Zach and Trini were not busy.
Yeah, that's what has me confused about that. Is like, what is Jason busy with?
Jason, he just had some stuff going on, you know. You know how it is. He was fine by the end. Him and Kim were getting lunch or some shit, which people seem to think is a dead confirmation that they were dating in that comic. That is not true. That they did not confirm that in any way. Maybe the author said that. Maybe that is what it's meant to imply. But I don't think that necessarily two friends texting about where they're going to get lunch this week necessarily
corresponds to they are dating.
Yes. Because that's all we get, and people took that as confirmation that Kim dates Jason, and that's why the Dear John letter happens. It's literally just like a text from Jason on her phone that says, "Where do you want to eat lunch this week?"
I have no opposition to that. I have no opposition to that being canon.
But anyway, so Zach and Trini are dating now. That's canon. We made it canon. We made it real.
I don't think it's canon. I'm not canonizing that.
Zach and Trini, objectively the correct ship. You, Trilly shippers, get out of here. Leave. This is not the podcast for you. This is the track podcast.
Hey, Riely. You're forgetting the correct ship.
What is the correct ship?
You know what the correct ship is?
What is the correct ship?
Trini and Skull, bitch.
Oh, you fucker. Okay. There is a correct ship involving a Power Ranger and Skull. That Power Ranger is not Trini, though.
It's not Kimberly either. It is Trini.
It is Kimberly.
It is not Kimberly. It is Trini.
Wait, you said it's not Kimberly either, as if to build off the fact that I said it wasn't Trini, and then said it was Trini.
It's Trini.
Okay.
It is Trini. My brain lagged.
But anyway, so Billy crashes, right? This is where it gets, like, almost cruel, and I love it, right?
Funky.
Billy crashes. Billy is hurt. Billy might have a concussion.
Oh, he definitely has a concussion, by the way.
Kim gets down on the ground, right in his face, and I thought she was going to help him up, but what she instead does is she hits him with the snark, and she's like, you know, Billy, this is not the way to meet girls. And then leaves him there on the ground, moaning in pain.
And you wonder why my first text to you today after watching these episodes was, God damn it, I love Kimberly now.
You know, it's like between Zach and Trini just having a good time, just watching Billy wipe out, and Kim roasting Billy like that. They've got a lot of actual attitude today, these teenagers with attitude, and I am into it.
And this is what I was looking for. Also, for those who have actually watched episode 1, I take back any Kimberly hate that I may have thrown. This episode makes up for everything that I said.
Good. I'm glad. So we cut to Rita. She doesn't like Earth music, and she's gonna kill the Power Rangers with her space music, and that's the plan.
That sounds. I'm not even sure what that sounds like the plot to. That sounds like a plot out of something else, though, entirely.
Then we cut to Billy. Still, nobody has helped this man up. He is writhing in pain, crawling around the fucking juice bar. Somebody help this man!
No,
and finally,
stay on the ground.
Finally, mercifully, Trini comes and helps the man up. And she asks him what happened and if he's okay. But it did sound a bit sarcastic. It did sound a bit sarcastic the way she said that. And I'm really liking these sassy Rangers today.
Oh yeah, we all are.
We walk over to the bar, or she walks Billy over to the bar. I guess we walk over to the bar too in a camera sense. And Jason and Zach are sitting there. And then Billy tells them in nerd speak that he can't dance, and Trini translates so everybody knows that Billy can't dance. Kim is back. She's teaching the class. There's one girl who's not doing very well, and she bumps into one of the others. She
She
gets
does a
yelled at.
Billy.
She does do a Billy.
She
She
does a
gets yelled
Billy.
at, and then she runs away. This girl's name is Melissa, by the way. I don't know quite when we learned that. I think it might literally be the end of the episode, because that's the first time I heard it. I should have not put it in my notes until I heard it, but I was just so relieved that I did not have to call this girl Deaf Girl the whole time that I immediately just find and replaced in the Google Doc. So at some point, her name is revealed to be Melissa. And
I would have done that, honestly.
so Kim calls a break in the class and goes after her. And she sits down next to her, like over at the other side of the bar, and asks what happened. And then the Melissa, who is deaf, she signs to Kim that the other girl bumped into her. Kim takes the blame because she forgot to sign the moves. But Melissa's like, no, it's my fault because I suck or whatever.
Okay, can we pause real quick right here for a second? Can we talk about how Kimberly knows sign language?
Kimberly does know sign language.
And this is never brought up again, to my knowledge.
And Jason Lee Scott, as we find out, does not.
Why'd you gotta spoil the end of the movie, man? You gotta spoil the end of the episode.
That's not even the end of the episode. That's one small event, like 14 minutes in.
No. No, the episode has a bit on that.
Oh, well, yeah, it does have a bit on that, but the first time we learn it is a very small action, 14 minutes
I know,
in.
I'm just saying. But, like, Kimberly knows sign language, and we never get this brought up again. I feel like that would have been a very good use.
I feel like it might come up again. I feel like you might be wrong. Crow is not the expert on Mighty Morphin, okay? Crow is not... There are episodes he hasn't seen. I feel like
Riely,
this
you
might
want to know
come
the
up
episode that it
time.
should have come up with, or come up in?
What?
Wannabe Ranger.
How?
Because as a safety precaution, I feel like everyone, or like as a both a safety precaution and a general means to discuss with this new character, the other Rangers would have at least tried to learn sign language. So in order to
never see Melissa again, so it's possible that she just like moved. So there was no longer a need for the Power Rangers to learn sign language.
But here's my other reason. It would also serve as an indicator to determine the real Rangers during that episode.
Well, it's a great thing that that is established that it's not established. We do not get a read on whether Billy, Trini, or Zach can do sign language, but we know that Kim can and Jason cannot.
We know Jason can do this dog or my dog stinks at the end, and it's very bad.
Wow, good on you for spoiling the fucking ending. You literally said the joke.
I just did a dumb.
Fucking
That's the name of the episode. That's the name of the episode. The name is Crow Just Did a Dumb.
I'm not even putting that on the list. That's not a good title, Crow. This is why I come up with the titles.
It's accurate, though, is it not?
It's accurate, sure, but it's not a good title.
But like this bit is never brought up again, and I feel like it could have solved so many problems.
Yeah, I feel like you're kind of wrong, but it's okay. So I had to figure out where I was. Yeah, Melissa blames herself because she sucks. And
she does not suck.
Well, because she thinks she sucks is what I mean. In her eyes, she sucks. In her own eyes, she sucks is what I'm saying, and that's why she's blaming herself. And Kim's like, no, you're a very good dancer. And she, I guess to make Melissa feel better, ridicules Billy, who was dancing nearby.
Who was dancing again nearby, by the way.
And they have a laugh about Billy.
Yep.
They're just being real mean-spirited towards Billy this episode.
He kind of deserves it with how bad his dancing is.
He does deserve it a little bit. Then we cut to Rita's. The gang is discussing the music plan. Rita calls for Finster. Finster is working on a monster that, quote, eats cars and smells like a fish. And Rita's like, no, scrap that. Make me a musical monster to mesmerize the Power Rangers.
You want to know what I want to see in one of the episodes one day?
A monster that eats cars and smells like a fish?
Yep.
I hope so. Maybe someday.
What episode is that, Riely?
I feel like there's a real answer that you're looking for, and I cannot give it to you.
I was just wondering if you knew what episode it was. I can Google it.
I mean, I do not think that there is an episode where a monster eats cars and smells like a fish. There's plenty of episodes where monsters smell like a fish. I do not think any of them eat cars. There might have been a couple. There might have been a couple Power Rangers monsters who have eaten cars, but I do not believe the two have ever intersected. I do not believe there has been a monster that both eats cars and is officially confirmed to smell like a fish.
Is it Goofish?
Is there a monster called Goofish?
Is it Goofish? Because I just found this on the wiki.
Maybe it's Goofish.
The episode's something fishy.
Is that the episode where Billy's afraid of fish? That's a spoiler. I should have said that. Whatever. Who cares?
I'm not sure, but I'm canonizing that this monster, or that this fish monster, can now eat cars.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see if Goofish eats any cars when we get there. We'll see if we remember to keep track of the amount of cars that Goofish consumes during that episode.
Hey, you want to? I'm not gonna say that because that would be dumb.
So Finster's like, brilliant idea, my queen, but like, musical monsters, not very reliable. What if I give you a fire-breathing hedgehog instead?
That was very good. I would also like to see that.
I also want to see the fire-breathing hedgehog. But Rita does not want to see the fire-breathing hedgehog. She wants her music monster.
Music monsters aren't reliable, though.
Well, stay tuned. We come back to the juice bar. Dance class is always. Sometimes I read words and then other words just come out. Dance class is almost over. Kim says they're going to do one more song and then it'll be done. The girl who Melissa bumped into, whose name is Beth, does apologize. And they make
when do we learn that? Because I don't remember her name ever getting mentioned.
At some point, they randomly say her name is Beth. And while I was fixing Melissa, I figured I might as well fix Beth too. So I'm not sure exactly when. I was calling her Bump Girl.
Yeah, no, I would have called her something else.
What would you have called her?
The kidnapped one.
Is that the joke?
What?
I don't know what your joke you're gonna make. A kidnapped.
What did you think the joke was? What?
I didn't. I thought you were gonna say she was hot. Like I figured that was the logical conclusion. What is? Yeah, she gets kidnapped. What a funny joke. What a funny joke.
The one that gets kidnapped. She is.
The joke is that you spoiled the episode and that it's actually not humorous in any way. You just said a thing that happens.
That's how I remembered which one she was.
But anyway, so they make up. And then everybody starts to dance. Bulk and Skull.
Oh, now I remember the actual joke that was supposed to go there.
Bulk and Skull enter. They start making fun of the dancers. They're like, "That looks easy." And then Zach is like, "Hey, I like to see you try it, then, bitch." And then Bulk does some pretty competent ballet steps. Of course, he didn't say bitch, obviously, but I gotta embellish a little bit here on Megazord Radio. And then Bulk does some decent ballet steps, and then he kicks Jason's bench from under him. He does like a surprise move where he's doing the ballet moves, and then suddenly he's like, "Ha!" And then Jason is about to kick his ass.
Jason was dead ass about to beat this man's ass into the ground.
Yeah, and then Zach
was like, no, man. I got you.
And then Zach's like, okay, you can do those steps over there, but like, try this. And then he beautifully demonstrates a dance. Walter Jones is a very talented man. Everybody claps for Zach.
With Walter Jones is the Fresh Prince of Angel Grove.
He is the Fresh Prince of Angel Grove. That's true. Bulk tries to dance. He does okay, actually. The performance from Bulk, more competence than I was expecting.
Oh yeah, out of the first bit, yeah.
Well, obviously, eventually it goes bad. It's Bulk and Skull, but I was expecting it to go bad earlier than it did.
I was expecting him to end up stumbling down the stairs or something.
Yeah. Bulk and Skull are good at avoiding. That's a theme today. Is Bulk and Skull avoiding tragedy longer than I thought they would? Because there is definitely. We won't go into details because we're getting there. But there is definitely a note in the next episode where I made a note as if like I know exactly what's gonna happen to Bulk and Skull in like 5 seconds, and it actually didn't go exactly the way I thought it was gonna go. So the themes of these episodes is Bulk and Skull getting got not quite as quickly as I assumed they were going to, which I do like.
It's a good bit.
So Zach does another cool dance. He does a splits this time. And
Wait, I thought there was another one.
No.
Prior to that, I thought
there might be another one after that. Is what you're thinking of?
I thought he did 4. That was what I thought he did.
Well, if there was a second dance between this and the splits, I missed it. It's not that important.
Oh wait, no. It was the spins. Never mind. The spins was a part of the splits. Never mind.
Okay. So yeah, Zach does some spins. He does the splits, and I immediately wrote down, "Oh no, Bulk, don't do it," because I knew it wasn't going to go well. And guess what, guys? He does fuck it up, and he does hurt himself. Everybody, including Skull, laughs at him.
Yeah. Can we also talk about how the fact that I guarantee you everyone thought that he ripped his fucking pants?
Thought that he ripped his pants
were not ripped.
I really thought that he ripped his pants, but I believe the action, the sound that we heard that we thought was the ripping of his pants was actually the ripping of his pelvic bone. So you know, a little bit more bad than
yeah.
And then Bulk calls Skull over to help him. He helps him up. And then Zach's like, I'm just even though I've already goofed on Bulk and Skull, even though I've successfully goofed Bulk and Skull, I'm gonna keep going.
And no, he did not goof Skull. He goofed Bulk specifically.
Well, Bulk and Skull exist as one entity, so when you goof Bulk, you goof them both. But
I can't pick both for my favorite.
Yeah, I am contradicting my own logic.
Yes, you in fact are.
But it's like you have this stupid little logical hang up with that where I'm like, I just think it makes more logistical sense to pick one character. So if Bulk and Skull are my favorite character, I'll just pick one. Like I'll be like, okay, maybe Skull was slightly funnier. Like even if it's not really true, I'll just pick one. You actively refuse to pick one and go to an entirely different character. Which distresses me because I know you want to give it to Bulk and Skull, and I strongly encourage you to give it to Bulk or Skull in that case, but then you just go off the rails and don't give your real favorite character because you can't give Bulk and Skull. So
because they are one character.
Just pick one if you want to give it to Bulk and Skull. We know in your heart you want to give it to both. Just pick a name.
I'm just gonna start giving it to And.
It's my new favorite character in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And God damn it.
Damn it, Riely.
Oh yeah, I'm And.
You bitch. Wasn't even meant to be a build, God. Hey, you want to know something even funnier?
What?
I'm pretty sure that's what that girl's name was supposed to be.
And?
It's just And. It's not Andy, it's just And.
Anyway.
Huh?
I said anyway. So Zach decides he's gonna keep styling and he does a handstand on the bar. It's pretty rad. Bulk tries to also do that, which I wouldn't recommend.
God
he
damn.
Does. He falls over the bar. Everybody laughs at him. Skull face palms. Bulk gets up and he has been gooped. There was goop on the floor. He has been gooped.
I thought he like yoinked himself into a pile of bananas or something. Honestly,
He might have spilled a smoothie on his way down and it spilled on him. But he got gooped. And he also ended up with a sandwich in his mouth, which was apparently Zach's sandwich. And Zach says, "You can have it. I wasn't hungry anyway." And everybody laughs.
Well, yeah.
Then we go back to Kim. She's ending the class. Everybody claps. And then Zach's like, "We gotta go, or we'll miss the movie." They never specify.
I know, that's the weird part.
Bulk threatens them emptily, and everybody makes fun of him. Then Bulk and Skull share some food, which I believe Bulk got from the floor.
No, it's the sandwich, remember?
It's not just the sandwich, though.
Ah.
But anyway,
I don't know what he had with him. I remember him.
He just had like a couple food items that I don't remember what they were. Maybe it was just like a couple, two different halves of a sandwich is what I'm remembering.
Maybe.
Then we cut to Rita and Finster. Rita's yelling at Finster to hurry the hell up and make a monster. Finster has crafted the gnarly gnome, which I did think was the naughty gnome until I happened to look at the wiki for this episode, because I was trying to look for a fun fact that I thought was true and doesn't exist.
Riely.
Yes.
Riely. It's the naughty gnome, just like it's Lunk.
I did think it was the yeah. There you go. It's the naughty gnome. But I did correct myself in my notes, so I'm not going to remember to say it. In fact, I'm just going to keep saying gnarly gnome because that's what's in my.
I'm going to remember to say naughty gnome because I can look at it and just be like, nope, that's naughty.
Please do not correct me every time I say gnarly gnome. I will kill you. So
naughty.
Shut up. So the plan is Gnarly Gnome can do a hypnotic song on his accordion. And they're gonna hypnotize some other kids to lure the Power Rangers in and then hypnotize them. Then Finster pops Gnarly Gnome into the monster oven, as we have been calling it.
Yeah, it is the monster oven.
And then Rita yells, "This time it had better work, Finster!" It's not going to work this time. I'm sorry. Spoiler alert, the good guys win.
Spoiler award, what?
I meant to say spoiler alert. I don't know what came out of my mouth. I don't think it was award either.
It sounded like spoiler award, and I'm like, what?
The spoiler award goes to Crow Royalty. He's so good at spoiling things before they come up. He's so good at it.
I am, but I don't mean to be.
Then out pops Mr. Gnome, who immediately jumps down to Earth. He lands near the juice bar, and he's like, "I gotta warm up my accordion." Then we go inside the juice bar. The juice bar. And Beth invites Melissa to the mall. And then them and a bunch of other kids head out. Ernie gives high fives as they leave, which I love. That's a great detail. He's just cool that way, Ernie. Then they get outside. Beth wants to stop at home first, but they will not be stopping home first because monster shenanigans are afoot. The gnome hypnotizes everyone except for Melissa because she is deaf, so thus the song does not work on her. Gnome leads the girls away. Melissa follows him, and he sees Gnome lead the girls into a cave, and there's some putties there. Gnome's like, "Yeah, I'm totally gonna hypnotize the Power Rangers and then kill the Power Rangers. It's gonna be great." And then they get in the cave. They seal off the cave before Melissa can continue to follow them. So Melissa runs off, and then we immediately cut to her entering the juice bar. And she finds Jason and Ernie there, and she's signing to them rapidly. But neither Ernie nor Jason understand sign language, so it's not working out for her very well.
Out of fit of genius, I might add, she then does this.
She then writes on a paper instead.
She snatches out of Ernie's hand, which is genius. Just yoink.
Hey, mouse pointer, buddy? What's going on? What? My mouse pointer is stuck.
Oh no.
It's not moving. It won't go anywhere. It's not moving left. It's not moving right, up, down. It's just stuck right where it is. What is happening right now?
There's no telling.
Hello? Mouse pointer? This is not... I can't do anything without a mouse pointer.
Check the connection. Check the connection to it.
I don't have a mouse plugged in. I'm using my trackpad.
Your what?
You know, the things that come on laptops where you use the trackpad?
Oh. When people say trackpad, for some reason, my first thought process is the little ball mouse.
And I can't, I don't know if I hard reboot my computer now, I don't know what's going to happen because there's a currently running OBS recording and my computer's probably not going to be happy about that ending so abruptly.
Shit.
What the fuck? Why won't my mouse pointer move?
Are we going to have to redo the podcast?
No, we're not going to lose the podcast either way. The podcast is fine. The podcast is fully contained within Craig at the very least. We will lose the podcast if the bots fail, if I have to restart my computer. But hopefully they will not fail. And hopefully I can figure out what the fuck is going on with my mouse pointer. What the hell? Everything else is working fine.
Reset your mouse pointer. I will try to keep the viewers entertained.
Reset? You can't reset a mouse pointer. How you
I don't know. Reset your computer real quick.
I can't. We just discussed this.
You can't. You don't have like the simple like button and arrow keys to reset.
Remember that whole thing about the active OBS recording and my computer possibly not liking it if I force shut it down while that's active? That whole thing we discussed just 30 seconds ago.
Wait, how? I don't get how that.
OBS recording is a separate recording from the bots. It's not the only recording we have. It is simply a backup recording that I run in case the bots fail. But the fact that there is a currently active recording going, force restarting my computer is not a good idea. You don't want to do that.
Okay. Is there a way to stop the OBS recording without the mouse pad?
Not that I know of.
Trying to think.
Oh, I guess you can disable your trackpad, so maybe that's what I did by accident.
Hold up, you want me to what kind of laptop do you have? I'll Google how to fix it.
I don't know what kind of laptop I have. Hold on. Welcome to tech support, because I'm not going to remember to cut this. So this is just in. This is just in the podcast.
Yeah.
If you're using a laptop, check if you've unknowingly disabled the trackpad. Different laptops have different keys combinations to disable trackpad using FN key. FN plus F8 Lenovo is what I have, I think.
Okay, on the Lenovo FN.
Fuck is the FN key? Oh, there it is. FN F8. That's not doing anything.
Try your mouse pad.
Wow. I wonder what I did to see whether it would do something or not.
Try pressing it again is like just to see if that helps. I don't know what else to tell you. Because you might end up just having to restart your laptop and that might be a problem.
Oh my fucking god, dude.
I still have the notes from the episode. I still have the wiki from the episode, so I can read off a decent amount of the plot.
You think the function key would say something, right? You think if I press the function key and I press one of the function keys, it would tell me something about what it did or did not do. Instead of just having nothing.
Exactly.
Why the fuck? Oh? There you go. It fixed it, I guess. All right.
Back to the episode.
Thanks for listening to Tech Support Radio.
Thanks for listening to Tech Support that I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, and neither does Riely.
But anyway, folks. She writes on the notepad, "Help, my friends are in danger." So Jason's like, "Okay, we're gonna help your friends. Let's go." And then we cut to the cave. The girls and the putties are all being forced to dance by the gnome's accordion song, doing all sorts of evil. He demands food, which Babu is cooking for him. He's making a little omelet. He's got a chef hat, you know. And this is Sentai footage. I believe he is cooking the last dinosaur egg in the Sentai footage, if I remember right.
Hold on, I can check real quick because I also pulled up the Sentai bit.
Because I did watch a decent chunk of G-Rangers.
Um,
I've seen the Sentai equivalent to these episodes.
Oh no, it's he's eating children.
No, the children of the little balls, right? No, the last dinosaur egg that they try to eat, that's a different thing.
Yeah,
They
and
are
they like
making an
to
omelet,
govern.
and the balls in the omelet are children's souls. Yes.
Yeah,
He does add little bouncy balls to the I had it written down in the note, but I guess we're talking about the omelet and the balls now. So yes, he does have little multicolored bouncy balls that in the
in this
Sentai
omelet.
that in the Sentai are the souls of children. In this, they are just Babu's secret ingredient. I don't know what that means.
That and then
Maybe they're still children's souls. They just can't say that on the show.
I 100% believe that.
But so Babu's cooking. Lunk is having a great time at the party. Everybody's dancing. You know, the gnome talks shit about the Power Rangers for a second, and then is like, "Where's my food?" Babu gets mad at being rushed. He's like, "Back off, Bucko." I kind of like it. And then
We like Babu. We also like Lunk.
Babu adds the bouncy balls to the omelet.
Yes, the children's souls.
Children's souls. Lunk is hungry, so he eats a bug. He just takes a bug out of his bag that he was saving for a special
It
occasion.
is,
He eats the bug.
if I remember right, it is specifically a centipede.
Lunk eats the
He
bug.
was there.
Does he live in a pod?
Huh?
Thank you. That was a political joke that Crow will not get.
I'm
And
not a
probably
political person,
a lot
so
of the other
I don't
listeners would.
know who the
Um,
fuck this is in reference to.
And then, so the gnome ate his omelet with the bouncy balls in it. He's going to take a nap now. Lunk and Babu also take a nap. You see, the thing is, I don't think they're children's souls because the thing is, in Jew Ranger, obviously they do not successfully consume the souls of the children, whereas in this show, they do off screen consume that omelet. So I would hope that it's not children's souls in this case.
On a backtracking note, I found out what the female punk's name is that was supposed to be part of the Vulcan Skull group.
I believe it's Sharky, but I don't think it's ever
Yes.
stated. I think somebody made that up one day, and they were like, "Yeah."
That is like the most metal fucking name ever. I love it.
It's pretty good. I just refer to her as Punk Girl because she's literally never named. Like, I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
Sharky might just be a fan name everybody agreed on.
Yeah, probably.
And then, so they're napping. And then Rita checks on him. She sees that the hostages are in place, but everybody's sleeping. So she's like, "Wake up! The Power Rangers can be there any second. Get up!
Wake up!
Stop sleeping." And then Gnome is like,
"Wake up!"
So, why did this happen? Right? I know why this happened. It's because in the Sentai footage, stuff happens. But the way that this is framed in Power Rangers, right? So here's what happens. The gnome gets up. He bumbles around for a minute. Then turns invisible for a second, and that's really never addressed. And then he reappears, and he's like, "The Power Rangers are coming."
I'm confused. I don't know.
I know in the Sentai footage, the thing is, so he has like his shoes are untied thing. In the Sentai footage, the thing is that a gnome can turn invisible, but it'll turn visible if you switch his shoes onto the wrong feet. So the actual what happens at the Sentai is the G Rangers trick him into switching his shoes, so he turns visible again. But in Power Rangers, they don't really have invisibility as one of his powers. He just turns invisible for this one scene for no reason.
Speaking of the shoes, that is credited as an error on the wiki.
So
his no, I'm looking at the errors on the wiki page. It says Gnarly Gnome's boots switch feet with no explanation during the scene when he is leading the captured girls into the cave. In a later scene, they switch back after he is woken up.
yeah, so they goof him on the Sentai footage a little bit, and that's why but it's really weird.
Yeah, I know.
But anyway, so that happens. The Rangers are coming. So Lunk and Babu are like, "Fuck this, we're leaving," and they bail.
Good job, Lunk and Babu.
And then we cut to all 5 Rangers who are now following Melissa. Jason just like grabbed the rest of the squad on the way. And then Melissa's like, she points out the cave, like over there. And then Kim's like, okay, go hide. And then Melissa goes hides. And they,
another error that I would like to point out: Melissa cannot hear.
yes.
Kimberly
However,
did not
they do
sign
talk to her
that.
while she was behind, and they did not sign that. No.
So
And then maybe
how
it was
fun-
just she kind of got the context of scary cave. I'm being pushed into a bush. She probably wants me to hide.
maybe.
So she hides. The Rangers run to the cave and they morph. And then upon morph, they immediately have their power weapons equipped. The gnome appears. He has a laser rake. This gnome, he has a weapon that is a rake that shoots lasers.
Speaking of, I can point out the exact reason. Wait, never mind. That's not referencing what I was about to say. It was
something ninjas.
no,
Anyway.
it's something Chinese mythology. But then I forgot that this character is not a pig.
That's fair. Well, that's the next episode.
The next episode. I was mixing the monsters for a second.
So he has a laser rake. He shoots some lasers at the Power Rangers. There's a big sparking explosion, and they get like hit or whatever. And then the Rangers do some big attacks on them with their weapons. First, Kim and Trini attack together. Then Billy and Zach, and then Jason all alone for the last one. And then they do all together again. And then they do the Power Blaster, but Crow, something's a little off about their power weapons today.
Oh my god, you're really gonna rant about this.
So how? I'm not gonna rant for too long. I'm just gonna point it out. I'm gonna read all the names of the weapons because I wrote them down. And we're gonna move on. But somehow somebody just didn't check this footage, and I guess left in a recording of like an earlier draft of what the power weapons were called. But then in that case, wouldn't have the Yellow Ranger been like Audrey Du Bois if it was that early of a draft? But I don't know. But anyway, so the power.
On another note, that is not listed on the errors of the wiki.
That's a pretty glaring error. There's no way. It's no fucking way. Is it in
not.
notes?
It calls out. You want to know what it calls out?
What?
It calls out that the Megazord's power sword is called the Megazord when summoned in this episode, and that is it.
It's probably in notes then, and it's about like how it's like
in notes
or something.
It says yeah, it does. The Rangers' power weapons, except for the Red Ranger's power sword, are given alternate names for this episode only. Power axe, cosmic cannon, power bow, battle bow, power daggers, dino daggers, power lance, and mighty mace.
Wow, thanks for reading those names for me, Crow. I definitely wasn't just about to read those. Thanks, buddy.
I forgot about those. I completely blanked on what they were actually called in this episode specifically.
You always feel like thunder on reveals. You tried to do it earlier too, but I fucking got you. I was like, I'm not letting it happen. When Jason was about to punch Bulk, you were about to stop me in my recap to say that Jason was about to punch Bulk, and I was like, no, fuck you. Jason is about to punch Bulk.
I'm like, I wasn't trying to. I was just like, this happened. And he was gonna wipe the floor with this man.
He did he did get the Jason death stare for but a moment. He was about to feel the muscles and the power.
I have a question, Riely.
Yes.
You want to talk about the cosmic cannon for a little bit?
Why is it called the cosmic cannon?
Exactly. That is my fucking question.
What version of the story, right? Because like it is half cannon, half axe. If something's half cannon, half axe, you call it an axe.
Exactly.
That is definitely the more defining feature of an axe cannon would be the axe part. Well, maybe not. Like the cannon would be the more effective part, right? But like in terms of like the design, You look at an axe with a cannon at the end, and you're like, that's an axe with a cannon on the end. Not, that's a cannon with an axe on the beginning.
But, you want to know what would have made this even funnier?
Yeah, what's up? What would make it funnier?
If during, what's it called? The Overdrive one. The one with Adam.
What? Once a
I'm
Ranger?
trying to... Yeah, that. If during Once a Ranger, he just pulls out the power axe and just goes Cosmic Cannon because he was using it as a gun at that time.
Yeah, Cosmic Cannon. Remember how it's the Cosmic Cannon, guys?
It just threw off everyone.
But anyway, they blast Gnome with the Cosmic Cannon and the Battle Bow and the Dino Daggers and the Mighty Mace and the Power
Sword.
Their old Power Sword. They blast Gnome. He explodes, but then Rita brings him back and makes him grow big. The Rangers summon their Zords. They power up their crystals.
Make my monster grow!
She hasn't said that yet.
What?
She said, make my Goldar grow in episode 1. Every other time she's grown a monster, she said something else. She has not said, make my monster grow yet. She said, make my Goldar grow in episode 1. And since then, she's just been like, I'm gonna grow him.
There's no way.
She has not said, make my monster grow yet.
When did she say that for the first time? Because that's like her most
I believe I recall her saying it in Green with Evil at some point, so it must be before then. No, because I think that's make my Goldar grow. So when did she say make my monster grow?
What'd you say?
I said I think that was make my Goldar grow is what I'm remembering from Green with Evil. So when did she say make my monster grow?
There's no fucking telling.
But anyway, I guess we'll find out as the story develops. So they go into tank mode, they blast Gnome, Gnome blasts them, and then immediately upon the smallest shake in the Megazord, Jason's like, fuck tank mode, we're going in man mode.
We're going in man mode.
And then they go to man mode. Megazord disarms Gnome. Now he has the laser rake. Megazord does.
Megazord has the laser rake?
He does, yes. He doesn't use it, but he does have it in his hands.
Oh no, he should have used the laser rake to shoot at the laser rake guy.
And then Gnome tries to hypnotize the Rangers with his accordion or whatever, or they just like, he's not hypnotizing them, he's just like fucking with them. I don't know.
It's like an illusion. It's not necessarily him hypnotizing, it's just an illusion.
And everything starts like getting all wonky. The Megazord drops the rake and like freaks out. The Rangers are grabbing their heads. It's all bad.
Pause real quick. I feel like that makes way more sense in the Sentai footage, if I remember right, because isn't the Zoo Ranger mecha sentient?
I mean, yeah.
So, isn't he like a god or something?
I mean, they're all kind of gods. They're all called gods at the very least, but I think this one might actually be a god, yes.
But no, what I mean is, like, isn't the combined version of all of the mechas a legitimate god in Zoo Ranger canon?
I believe so. They're the mythical beast, and they are some sort of godly being, and together they make Daijujin, so I don't know.
So, yeah.
But, so...
I feel like that makes a lot more sense in the Sentai.
Probably. So Gnome goes and attacks them while they're freaked out, but then Megazord is like, bitch, nope. Or maybe it isn't. Maybe Gnome just sucks. I did not see the Megazord knock Gnome down. All I saw was Gnome falling.
No, he did. The Megazord punched him in the fucking face.
Okay, so Megazord was like, no, shut up, and punched him in the face. And then they call the Mega Power Sword. They finish Gnome off.
They don't call it the Mega Power Sword. They call it the Megazord.
I know. You mentioned that earlier. Who cares? We already know.
The Megazord, man.
But what it is actually called, the Mega Power Sword. And they finish the Gnome off. And then they head to save the girls. And we cut to the Rangers unmorphed, escorting the girls out of the cave. Talking all about how the Power Rangers came to help them, and that was epic and cool. And they're all grateful to Melissa for seeking the help in the first place. Hugs and high fives all around. And then Zach's like, hey guys, let's go get some ice cream. And everybody's like, fuck, alright. And then they go with him. Then we cut to Rita, who's screaming at Lunk and Babu, as you do in general, I think. And Rita's like, all my henchmen suck, I hate them! Uh, and that's basically that's what happens every episode.
Yeah.
Then we cut to the juice bar. Everybody's listening to music and just having a good time, just vibing, hanging out. Ernie brings out free juices for everyone because he's awesome, and everybody cheers. They all have a toast to Melissa. Jason tries to do a sign language, but he says that his dog smells, a joke that we already spoiled, so it's not funny because Crow ruined it earlier.
I apologize. I did a dumb, as I stated earlier. I did a dumb.
Everybody
I
laughs.
apologize, but I did a dumb.
I know. I know you did a dumb. It's okay.
I will try not to do a dumb in the next episode.
But anyway, so Melissa invites Billy to dance. And Billy's like, oh no. And everybody's like, come on, Billy, come on.
You can't do worse than you already did, man.
And the way this is framed, I thought they were about to go like dance, like a couple dances.
Oh, I thought so too.
What they actually did is they go to the dance floor where some of the dance class girls are just dancing, and they just start dancing with them. And the Rangers just have a talk about the moral for a minute. Like they talk about how cool Melissa is, even though she's deaf. And then we cut back to Billy, who is ripping up the dance floor. This man is going hard in the break dance paint.
Pause. Lights turned off.
Why do you have to call a pot? Why not just let me continue talking?
Because my brain is not going to let me until I turn my lights back on, and I don't want to forget what you're saying.
You and your goddamn lights. That's not... Are you literally a bird?
Yes, I am literally a bird.
Literally, I think impossible what you just described to me, that you were like, if I don't turn my lights on right now, I will not understand what you just said. There's no way
my brain zones out until I turn my lights back on. That's the problem.
Anyway, enough about Crow and his weirdness and what kind of strange creature he has built himself into.
I've turned myself into a legitimate bird.
He's turned himself into a bird man.
Deal with it. I am.
Maybe he's destined to become a jet man someday. Maybe he's got the Bretonic.
Exactly. I am Jet Crow. Speaking of, that was an OC I made.
Oh yeah, I forgot that there is no Crow in Jetman. That's cool.
That was an OC that I made in like 2019 ish.
I'm so proud of you for making that in 2019. Then they're all dancing. Deaf people are cool. Billy does a break dance. It's pretty sick. Then we just freeze frame on the other four Rangers and Beth watching as Billy fucking goes crazy on the dance floor. And that's Different Drum. Now I have some final thoughts, and then we can go into your final thoughts as well. I actually wrote these down, so I'll go first for final thoughts for the first time ever, and probably the last time ever.
Yeah, probably.
So this episode, like I said earlier, it really makes me feel like they're real teens in a way that I appreciate. Like, first of all, it shows them as part of this larger friend group, which feels more realistic than just like the five of them and only the five of them, as some episodes seem to imply is their friend group. They have like this general larger friend group of these other teens who are like in this dance class or whatever. And they definitely like all address each other as if they hang out all the time. And I do like that. I do like that there's this larger friend group that they're a part of. The Power Rangers are just a sub-friend group within this larger friend group.
On the topic of the larger friend group, can we talk about even within the larger friend group, Billy is still kind of the outsider of that friend group?
Yeah, Billy is still the nerd. Yeah, of course. And it was just, they had a lot of fun this episode with the teen stuff. The monster is really wacky, but I also thought he was fun anyway. Like he's on the weirder side, but that's fun. So overall, I am very satisfied with this episode. Now, do you have any particular final thoughts you would like to share before we move on to our favorite stuff? And
holy fuck, this is one of my favorite episodes so far, if not my favorite episode so far. Just in general. So, not only do we have Kimberly actively being more than just what she was in episode 1, basically, we have actual character that we are learning about, and I love it. We also get little bits of Billy and just about everybody else as well, to an extent, kind of lacking on Jason. He just kind of did nothing, which I'm not mad at per se.
Well, Jason, he didn't know sign language, and his dog smells.
Yeah, that's about it though. But we got Billy, and we got Kimberly, and we got a little bit of Trini, and a good fucking Zach scene. Then we got them fucking with Bulk and Skull, and then
hey, excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to cut off your final thoughts and move right into favorite character. Because did you just say there's only one good Zach scene? Hey,
no,
guys, my favorite character in this episode is Zach Taylor.
I didn't say there was just one. I just said that was his best scene.
You were like these characters are good. These characters were okay. Zach had that scene, and I was like, just one for Zach.
No,
That's
it's
all
like that scene. That's what I That's what I remember the best of. But then you have like the cosmic cannon that is also funny as fuck.
Yeah, there's cosmic cannon. There's the dance moves. Obviously, are the big thing, and like I think Zach just like conducted himself very well in this episode. I think. Walter Jones was definitely like the most invested in the acting during this particular episode. I think.
And debatable. I'm leaning towards I like Amy Jo a lot in this episode.
I mean, Amy Jo always acts circles around the rest. She is a much more professional actor. Like she has been much more successful in that medium than any of the rest of them, and it does show even back then. Amy Jo Johnson is definitely the standout acting wise, and I don't think anybody can dispute that. Even if they prefer like Jason or Zach over Kimberly, I think they can acknowledge that Amy Jo Johnson is the best actor in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yeah. But this episode in particular shows Amy Jo getting into the role a lot better, and I really enjoy that part of the episode.
Yeah, that was very good. So just to
have, sorry, I wasn't trying to cut you off.
No, I guess I did. As a joke, I cut off your final thoughts, but I suppose I will rescind my joke and allow you to finish them.
But then you also have the deaf girl, I forgot her name. Melissa. Then you have Melissa, and as far as I'm aware, there wasn't as much like representation of like people that aren't normal people back then. It's still kind of iffy on portrayal today because the most known deaf person that is in media is fucking Daredevil, and you can't say otherwise.
I mean, you're right.
Like, and that's not an accurate depiction, I don't think. Well, no, it's either
Daredevil
him or
deaf or is he blind? I thought he was blind, Daredevil.
Wait, no, yeah, he is blind. There's not enough deaf people in the world, or that's in the like portrayals. So having him not only know sign language to accommodate for a deaf person, but just the deaf person being on within the first 5 episodes made this episode really like nice. In my opinion.
That's also a very good point. I didn't want to be like biased about that, and
I wasn't. I'm not really trying to be. It's
like if this episode sucked, I would call it like it is. Like despite the deaf representation, I would call it like it is if the episode sucked. But the episode is very good, and I also like that there is deaf representation. Even though I guarantee you she was not played by a deaf girl, but it was the 90s. We do.
Yeah, you can get away with that for the most part. But like the fact that they tried to represent these people, I like it. It's not a major like benefactor towards why I like this episode. I like this episode for Kim mostly.
Also, real quick, I would like to rescind. I would like to avoid any egg landing on my face and say I am sorry if that actress is really deaf, but I don't think she was.
It doesn't say on her wiki, so we don't really know. She's not credited.
If it didn't say that she was deaf on the wiki, she's not deaf. They would mention that.
No, the actress isn't credited, so we don't know who the actress is.
Oh, the actress isn't credited. Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, that's the bigger issue, and I'm like, okay, that's weird. I went looking a little while ago, but I really like this episode in general. It is kind of my number one at the moment.
Oh my god!
No,
shut up about where it ranks until we get to the ranking. We are almost there.
But like, it's good, and it's really good in my opinion.
You could say it's good a million times. Stop referring to where you want to put it on the ranking before we get to the ranking.
Okay. Given the fact that you said your favorite character already, I'm just gonna.
I didn't finish my favorite. No, shut up, because I didn't finish what I was saying about my favorite character before you trampled back over me. So My favorite character is Zach in this episode. Again, just like very good in this episode. The dance moves, obviously, and I also really like. So what I know, this is me like subtly noticing stuff, and maybe I'm reading too deep into it, but maybe you notice this as well, Crow, or you will think about it and notice it retroactively when I describe it. A fact about this friend group that seems true to me is that although Jason is the leader of the Power Rangers, I think Zach is the leader of their greater friend group.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like Zach is definitely like directing the crowd.
Yeah, definitely.
But like he's the one who's like, we're gonna be late for the movie. He's the one who's like, let's go get ice cream. Like Zach is the leader of the pack. It's the Zach pack.
Yeah.
But yeah, my favorite character is Zach. What about you?
Kimberly. Just I love just about everything for Kimberly in this episode for the most part. From the interaction with the only deaf character that we see for a really long time, to my knowledge, to how she kind of makes fun of Billy when he does dumb shit, to her just generally being a really good character in this episode. And second would be Zach. I also agree. Zach is really good in this episode too.
Now, more than fair and shocking that Kim got favorite character from you before she got it from me.
Yeah, very much so. I was not expecting this because I am very much a Kim hater.
You are a Kim hater.
I was, but I will give props to her when she deserves it.
Listen, I understand being an episode one Kim hater. Like like
episode one.
I like her being
and then that one episode in Zio are like the pinnacle of I hate this character. But beyond that, she's really good.
I kind of liked Peak Valley Girl Kim in episode 1 just as like a fun gimmick, but I'm definitely glad that she mellows out after that. Like I like episode 1 Kim for my own reasons, but she definitely gets better. So I get why you would dislike episode 1 Kim and then grow to like now Kim.
Yeah, there's only two like major spots that I really don't like Kim, but everywhere in between she is either really good or like somewhere in the middle between everybody. There's very few times that she's like genuinely bad, in my opinion at least, aside from those 2 points in particular.
That's fair.
And that's mostly me talking about the Dear John letter and the very beginning of the first episode because...
Yeah, that's fair. But as for favorite scene...
Oh god, don't get me started.
I don't know what mine is yet. I have to peruse my brain between a couple, so you can go ahead and get started on your favorite scene. Not to get you started.
Okay, my favorite scene is between one of 3 scenes, but I'm leaning towards one in particular.
Right, what is it?
So the one that I am leaning the most towards is the scene where Melissa and Kim are sitting on the stairs and they're talking about what happened, and Kimberly just looks over at Billy and just goes, "At least you're not him." It got me.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It got me while I was watching it. As for the other 2 honorable mentions, Zach's dancing and fucking with Bulk specifically.
Yeah, for sure.
The other one is Jason not knowing sign language. And the dog bit. It's great.
I think my favorite bit is pretty definitively, as I think about it, the only scene that really stands out to me. Like I try to justify maybe some more important scenes, but I don't know why. I'm just watching Power Rangers. I can say a silly scene if I want to. It is the Zach dance scene. I like it when
that's totally fair. That's totally fair. That is a very good scene. Just in general, I like the bit where they're bullying Billy a little bit more.
That's fair. Bullying Billy is fun.
Yeah,
Actually,
very
you
much
know
so.
what?
Especially
You
since
know
I
what?
did
I
that for the
lied.
first couple of episodes.
I lied. My favorite scene is not the dance scene. My favorite scene is actually something even dumber and more small, but it's something that I love a lot. And it's just Zach and Trini's fun little, like, having fun exchange about Billy suffering.
Oh yeah, yeah. Can we also talk about the? Well, I should also bring up the very beginning of the episode when Ernie just does his little jig.
And he does do his little jig. I love Ernie. Ernie was a
Ernie
genius episode.
Ernie is great, and
Part of me wants to give
immediately.
my favorite character to Ernie this episode. And if Zach didn't have so much Riz, I just might have done it. He's very
You
good.
want to talk about the Riz, bro? Wait till we get into the next episode, man.
All right, all right.
Ooh.
Fair, that's fair.
Oh, there
But
is so much Riz.
the one thing that's left is to rank it, and I think we've made it no secret. It is the new number one. So
It is
coming in
the
at
number
number
one
one,
definitive for right
coming
now.
in at number one, different drum. But now comes the part of the podcast where I reveal the secret to Crow. And what you're gonna have to do, Crow, this is gonna be a challenge. I'm doing like a dramatic reveal for our listeners, but we're actually going to talk about it later. So I need you to not react to what I'm about to say, and then we will bring it back and discuss it when it becomes appropriate.
Okay.
So the fact that you assumed about me about these episodes that was incorrect. After you finished watching Different Drum, because you were aware that I said that one of the episodes today I thought was going to become the new number one. That was not a Different Drum.
What?
Anyway, so tell us about episode 6, Crow.
What?
We'll talk about it when we get to final thoughts about this episode. So go ahead.
Okay, this is Food Fight, written by Cheryl Saban and directed by Robert Hughes, originally airing on September 4th, 1993, and then January 16th of 2010 in the re-release.
I believe this was actually the second episode of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers aired, is a fun fact about it. Or maybe even the first?
No, it wasn't the first, I don't think.
Because I think shows did used to do that, or maybe even more recently they did that, and they actually didn't do this back in the 90s.
Oh, wait, nope, not it.
But let me finish my thought as you interrupt me just to think of something you didn't have yet.
No, I was reading the notes to see if it was the first. It does not say that it was the first episode aired or anything about that.
I believe it was the second episode aired. But what I thought it might have been, because I remembered it as the first, but I do believe now that I think about it, it was actually the second. But sometimes what shows would do, at least when I was a kid, and I don't know if they did this back then too, is they would, if a show was coming out, they would be like, we're going to play an episode of this show that's coming out, but it's not going to be the first episode because you don't want to blow the whole origin story. It's just like getting your feet wet, getting your toes wet. You want to know what Power Rangers is? Here's Food Fight. Watch the first episode of Power Rangers coming next week on Fox Kids. But that's not what happened, I don't think.
Do you want to know what show did this?
What show did this?
Power Ranger Samurai.
That Samurai did do this, yes. That's true.
I'm sorry, I just had to say that real quick. It's like, you want to know what show did this? Power Ranger Samurai. And you want to know what episode they gave us to start Samurai off with?
Really
the best episode, fucking Samurai.
But it's just so weird, right? Because the difference, the joke you make is, I guess, kind of accurate, but the difference between that and this is shows that do that, they just play a random episode, and that doesn't count. That's just like a preview. And then they play the first episode and play the show in order. They didn't play the real first episode of Samurai until like 17 episodes into Samurai.
Oh yeah, I know. I was making a joke. I that was purely a joke. Just me trying to rep the fact that the first episode aired of Power Ranger Samurai was the best episode aired of Power Ranger Samurai.
True. So anyway, to get into the meat and potatoes of Food Fight, we start at the juice bar again.
Oh god damn it, Riely! That was such a bad pun.
What? That was not a pun. If I had made specific reference to a pig style meat, it would have been a pun. I was just
no. You said the meat
is a general state
about Food Fight.
Oh, because meat and potatoes are food. Oh, I didn't even think about it that way. Good job, Crow.
That was such a bad pun.
I thought you thought I was trying to make like a pig pun because you make pigs into a meat, and I was like, that's a bit of a stretch.
No, you said the meat and potato. That is such a bad pun.
It was not a pun. It was not even intentional at all. I was simply using the phrase "meat and potatoes" as God intended. But
the phrase "meat and potatoes" as God intended is for me to be eating steak and mashed potatoes right now, which I'm not.
Like, you know what I mean. Shut up. So we started the juice bar, and there are a bunch of stands set up. They got food on them, and they're all themed around a different country. Except there is just a table for spicy, as we will see later.
Yeah, there is. There is. Don't worry. Just fucking.
Ernie walks in with some pies, and then he admires the setup, and he also admires some young girls in a Hawaii getup.
Beautiful women, I might add.
Now, I have a question. These two Hawaiian girls. This is a question that I'm going to raise, and it's going to raise some unfortunate implications about Ernie as we think logically about this answer. Are these two girls students of Angel Grove High?
Acknowledge this question. I refuse to acknowledge this question. I know what you're going to ask. I refuse to acknowledge it.
Are these two girls students of Angel Grove High?
No.
What are they doing there, then? Who are they?
Hired dancers.
Why?
Because they needed someone to hula or do the hula.
Okay.
Or whatever dance it is.
Maybe you get off this time, Ernie. I don't want to think Ernie's a creep either, but like, what else are two random young women doing there?
You want to know what they're doing there? You want to know what they're doing?
What are they doing there?
They're there so Ernie can get some bitches.
That's right. I hope. Listen, whether these characters are intended to be teenagers or not, they did not hire.
Ernie has the riz.
I'm just saying they did not hire teenage actors back then. Literally every actor on Power Rangers is over the age of 18. I hope Richard Janelle got some that day on set. I think he might have.
Yeah, I guarantee you that man did. Like after the last episode, Ernie has some fucking riz. Like he's just a riz battery at this point, and he is fully charged. Of course, he just pulled two bad bitches. No, of course, he just pulled two fucking bad bitches immediately.
But anyway, so Bulk and Skull are there, and then I did write down immediately upon the entry of Bulk and Skull, I wonder what's going to happen to Ernie's pies. And I was not entirely correct, I guess, technically.
No, you were not.
So Bulk and Skull are dicking around. So Ernie's like, hey, come help me with these. And then Bulk and Skull walk up and start eyeing the Hawaiian girls. And Ernie's like, not those, the pies.
And then Ernie puts his arms around the two women and just walks away while Bulk and Skull takes the pie.
Ernie, if they're okay, you walk into this juice bar, right? There's about 100 people.
Gonna get some puss.
No, hold on. This has nothing to do with any Ernie Riz, although he is getting some puss, of course. Hey, do you have a juice bar, right? It's got about like 30 different teenagers in it. Who would be the last two you asked to carry pies?
The two
I believe that would be Farkas Volkmeyer and Eugene Skulovich.
Well, yeah, but if you're busy getting some pussy, you don't give a shit.
That's fair. That's true. He had his eye on the prize.
He really did.
The safety of his pies was not even a concern because he had some pies of his own to produce later that
exactly.
So
this is just the Ernie has Riz show now.
Yes, of course. Ernie's got the Riz. the Ernie Riz cannot be topped.
The Ernie Riz cannot be topped, man.
So anyway, that's going on. Bulk and Skull have pies. They're carrying the pies.
I don't remember what else happens in this episode after the Ernie Riz.
You just tuned out the whole rest of the episode.
Yeah, pretty much. I remember like little bits, but like the Ernie Riz, man.
The Ernie Riz was just too good.
Strong.
It masked the rest of the episode.
Too strong.
But so Trini and Kimberly enter. Kim has cake and assumedly something else because of what happened.
Of course Kim has cake.
Well, yeah, we all knew Kim had cake, but she also has a literal cake.
This joke is just this episode is just full of innuendo.
And Trini has some fruit. Trini has melons. Damn it! They would have been so perfect Now that you pointed out the Kim has cake thing, which I wasn't even thinking about, I should have said Trini has melons, but it did not come to me in time, and I said fruit. I was too late.
No.
But anyway,
you should have just not said anything, and I'd have said it because that was my next thought.
Damn it! So
this episode is just full of innuendos.
So Principal Kaplan also enters. He's very confident that the food festival is going to be a great success. And Trini's like, yeah, we're raising money for the preschool and the daycare center, which later we find out that they are raising money for playground equipment specifically for the preschool and the daycare center, both of them? Two separate places?
Well, I feel like that's the same place.
Maybe.
Preschools and daycare centers usually are one and the same. To an extent. Like, because you're, at least where I'm around, they're one and the same for the most part.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. So
wait, did I ever say who this episode was written by?
I don't remember who wrote it.
Cheryl Saban.
And who directed it while we're here, just in case.
Robert Hughes.
There you go, but Cheryl Saban, Robert Hughes.
No wonder this episode has such Ernie Riz, man.
What, is Cheryl Saban known for Ernie Riz? What's the joke?
I feel like she is at this point with how strong it resonates in this episode.
Cheryl Saban having an affair with Richard Janelle, and he just her pure attraction to him came through on the script. Wow,
that'd be fucking sick.
I don't know if it'd be sick. I feel like it'd be unfortunate for Haim Saban.
I didn't say it wouldn't be unfortunate, but that'd be fucking sick in both.
Not that I really care about the happiness of Haim Saban. I mean, he did, of course, have a large hand in creating a franchise that I love so much, but he was also very shitty towards every other employee involved in said thing that I love so much. So yeah, I don't know.
But my bit was it's sick in both ways.
How so? Elaborate.
It's sick as in that's fucking cool as shit. But that's sick as in what the fuck were you thinking?
I see what you mean. Okay, now I get it. So at some point, Zach, Billy, and Jason also enter. They kind of just become a part of it, and I didn't quite see when they
showed up behind the one holding melons and the one with their cake.
Shut up! You can't bring it back. It's not funny when you bring it back.
No, it's not. But like, I had to.
At some point, they enter. They come in behind or whatever. Kaplan, I guess, tries to stick a finger in Kim's cake, although maybe Kim had something else on her plate besides the cake.
Wait.
Because they do tell... What? Oh, yeah, I did say that. So yeah, Kaplan is
what? Mr. Kaplan did what?
He fingered Kim's cake. What do you? That's what happened. That's what happened in the episode. But
what the fuck? What the fuck?
Oh man. But anyway, so Kaplan goes for something on Kim's plate. The only thing I made out was the cake. However, they then do tell him that he has to buy it first, referring to the whole cake, and says it's $20. So I feel like there might have been something else on that plate that he went.
Riely.
Shut up. Give up on it. It's over. Get over it.
No, he's got to buy it first.
He's got to buy the cake before he fingers it. Oh my god.
God damn it, you have broken me. God damn it, Riely.
Listen, you broke me earlier with "and", okay? I had to get you back.
I broke myself earlier with Rand. With Rand? With "and" too.
Anyway, let's move on from this.
Let's just skip over
let's
this
just keep
for a
going.
minute.
So Billy's like, that'll be $20. Then Kaplan's like, I'm not hungry anyway, and walks away. And then Ernie's like, Ernie very politely, not meanly, but he does tell the kids to get back to work because the doors are gonna open in 10 minutes. So let me, Crow, I'm gonna need you to get over. I'm gonna need you to breathe in and out for me.
This episode is so much shit that I did not notice while I was watching it.
So we cut to Rita's palace, where Lunk and Babu are watching the festival. Then Rita walks in and she's complaining about how she's sick to Babu. And Babu's
And
like,
Lunk,
Babu runs
but
over to
not.
her. No, she does specifically say Babu.
Oh, I don't
She's like,
remember her saying specifically Babu.
Babu, I'm sick. And then Babu's like, oh no. And he runs up to her and she's like, you can't be sick. And then Rita's like, I can be sick and I am sick. And Babu's like, yes, you're evil. You're sick. You're very sick. We go back to the food festival. Or no, we don't. Because we do, but we don't. Because Lunk is like, hey, I have something that'll make you feel better. And he's looking through the telescope. And then Rita's like, let me see. And she sees the food festival. And I guess the concept of food is repulsing to her? Does she not?
She is Rita Repulsa. Of course it's repulsing.
Shut up, first of all. Second of all, does she not eat?
No, she's Rita Repulsa.
That's I think it's implied that villains eat like garbage and other various disgusting substances because their favorite joke to make is, "Oh, we're villains, so we like trash and stinky things." So I think Rita might literally
Rita very specifically does not eat because what would she have eaten in the space dumpster?
Trash, space trash. But but anyway, so
God damn it, Riely.
She doesn't like food. She tells Lunk and Babu to get rid of it. She's like, get rid of it. Then we cut back to the festival, where the Hawaii girls are dancing. Everybody claps for them.
Oh my god.
Trini and Billy are at the Asian food station. They're serving some stir-fried rice and some vegetables. I believe Zach is at the South America station, but I am literally stupid and don't recognize flags, and all that was visible was the word America. I assume it was South America. There's only the two Americas, I think, and North America is also the USA, I think, which has its own booth. So I believe this is South.
Riely.
Yes.
Then where does that leave Mexico and Canada?
In South America. Maybe. Probably not, actually.
The United States education system has failed you.
Has failed me. I am not familiar. So anyway.
You know what Canada is.
So I believe Zach's station is South American. And he does not say what food he has, whereas everybody else does. We do not get any sight as to what food Zach has at his South American station. He just says that it is, quote, good stuff.
It is good stuff. It looked really good, honestly.
It probably was pretty good stuff. And then Jason and Kim are at the USA station. They got burgers and hot dogs and shit. It's pretty good.
I would like to know why that was what they chose instead of, chicken nuggets. Chicken nuggets are the most American food on the fucking planet.
Maybe back in 1993, they weren't as prominent of an American culture icon as they are now.
Chicken nuggets are better than everything. Fight me.
Kaplan walks up to the USA station and he's like, "Oh, isn't this great? This festival that we're doing." And then Bulk and Skull are at a table. They got pies. Sharky is there, along with some other random dude. And they're like, "We're gonna throw these pies at the geeks running this festival." And that's their plan. Skull sticks a finger in a pie, and then Bulk's like, "We're not here to eat the pies, we're here to throw the pies." Then Bulk, he rallies the punk brigade, and he's like, "All right, spread out." Like they're about to engage their battle plan, Bulk and Skull and friends. And then Kaplan passes by the Asian station. Trini offers him some stir-fried vegetables. He doesn't seem like he wants those, so they offer him some other stuff. Then Bulk goes to throw his pie at Kaplan, but he misses, only barely hitting Kaplan's toupee, which flies off. And the pie hits Skull instead. And then Skull yells, "Food fight!" And immediately, every person at this event, not named Jason, Zach, Trini, Billy, Kimberly, or Principal Kaplan, start a massive food fight. Literally everyone who is not the Power Rangers or the principal. Which is wild to me, because you would think this would be a group of good-natured teens who are there to help run this event that I will remind you is raising money for small children, and they just immediately devolve into a food fight.
You want to know what would have been smarter?
What?
Have every piece of food that got destroyed by said food fight be paid by the person who started the food fight.
By Eugene Skolovich, then? Oh no!
It would be no. Bulk hit Skull first, so it would be paid by Bulk.
Well, no. Bulk hit Skull with the pie, but that would have gone on. The pies end up on Bulk or Skull's face every day. Nobody would have done anything based on Skull getting a pie on his face,
except for Skull, who thought that somebody was trying to hit him in the face and then yelled "food fight,"
and then it went. But anyway, so they're doing the food fight. Billy and Trini duck and run. Kaplan retrieves his toupee from a punch bowl and wrings it out, which is really funny. I like that joke. And then that's going on. Some crazy stuff is going on. It's not cool for them. The guy running the Mexican food station is just having a great ass time with this food fight. And then Kaplan yells at him, which Kaplan does not do much to stop this food fight for a while. He does not yell at the entire crowd. He just yells specifically at this one guy. And then just so many people are unabashedly ruining this festival meant to raise money for children. And then we cut to Rita, who is inspired by the food fight. And she's like, I'm going to make the humans fight for their food. And then she calls for Finster. Finster's doing some sculpting, some monster sculpting. You know how it is. That's what Finster does.
Yeah, that's the Finster way.
Finster way. Rita comes up. She's like, I need a special monster. And Finster's like, all my monsters are special. And then she just goes like, ah! And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. Finster deserves better, to be honest. What a good boy that Finster is. I love Finster a lot. This episode in particular and in general. Rita wants a pudgy pig. Finster does have one, but it's not his best work. And then Rita's like, then make it your best work. So she wants a pudgy pig to eat all the food on Earth. And Finster puts his pudgy pig in the oven. And then our boy Pudgy Pig appears. He's got a big fork and a big butter knife, and he's ready to go.
Hey, question.
Yeah?
How hot was that knife?
Probably pretty hot.
It was 1,000 degrees, wasn't it?
Maybe a 1,000-degree knife. It could be.
That was the joke.
Yeah, but anyway, so Finster's like, shit, we're doomed. Like, he has no confidence in this monster. And Rita's like, yes, this is the Pudgy Pig that I wanted. And then she sends Pudgy Pig to Earth. Pudgy Pig is very hungry, and he immediately starts eating popcorn from a trash can, along with whatever other trash was in that trash can. Then we cut to the festival, where this food fight is still happening. The Rangers have gathered, and Jason's like, we gotta stop it! Kaplan is hiding, saying this is terrible to himself, even though I'm pretty sure he could just yell really loud and stop this at any time. Bulk is having just a grand old time flinging pies around. Then Jason comes up with fucking hot dog chucks. And Bulk is intimidated by his...
It was a sausage link. It was not hot dog chucks. It was a sausage link.
Whatever, you get it. It's a link of...
I'm a food man. Of course I know this.
You get it. The sausage link, whatever. Hot dogs come in links sometimes. All I'm saying, it didn't say sausages on the sign. It said hot dogs. And I think hot dogs do come in links sometimes. So I think this is a hot dog link, and I was right. But he's got chucks. He does nunchuck moves with his meat that may or may not be sausage or hot dogs. And Bulk is so intimidated by Jason's epic nunchuck moves that he drops a pie on his own head. Jason laughs at him. Bulk is mad. Skull, and then we cut to Skull, who has some chips. She's about to, Skull, congratulations on coming out. But no. Skull has the chips.
Skull's coming out party.
Oh no. Skull has the chips. Kim tells them to put the chips down, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll put them down."
I thought it was a bowl full of like a kimchi or something.
I thought it was like multicolored like nacho chips, but maybe it was something else. But he did throw them, and he tries to throw them at Kimberly, but Kimberly dodges, and instead they hit Bulk. So Bulk turns around, he's angry, he pies Skull, and then has a laugh about it. Then we cut to the park.
I had a laugh about it.
I believe we cut to the park, and there's a picnic. There's a family picnic, and Pudgy Pig shows up. He's like, Pudgy Pig, I'm hungry, and then the family runs away, and he eats the picnic. Just the whole thing. I think the blanket and basket included. Then we cut back to the food fight, which at this point, really fucking long food fight, huh?
Yeah.
Then Billy like stops somebody from throwing a food. He like takes it. Then random male punk from earlier who was hanging out with Bulk, Skull, and Sharky. He's got some pies, and he's about to run up to Billy and Trini and just pie face them. But then they dodge, and then he falls into a pot of sauce or something, or like soup or whatever. And then Trini says, "Healthy lunch," and Billy says, "That'll be $20," which I like. And then Bulk has whipped cream now. He's got a whipped cream can in both hands. He's wreaking havoc. And then Zach comes up to him like he's got a gun. He's like, "Bro, come on, dude, you gotta chill with the whipped cream, dude. Come on." And then Bulk just smirks and he sprays a little bit of whipped cream to show that he's locked and loaded. And he's about to charge Zach. Zach pulls out a cloth and starts literally taunting him like a bullfighter. He's like, Toro. And then Bark, our good friend Bark.
Yeah, my good friend Bark. No, he's Bull now. He's Bull. He's Bull now because Toro.
Bull is in his name. He's Bull. But anyway, Bulk charges Zach. Zach gets out of the way. This causes Bulk to fall on and slide down the Hawaiian table, which results in the punch bowl getting knocked on Kaplan, which finally, mercifully, gets Kaplan fed up enough that he stops the fight. He starts yelling at everybody. He says, "Our food festival is ruined!"
Ruined!
So that's a thing he says. Everybody just looks at him. They're not saying anything. Kaplan then, as far as I understand it, later he will directly say that this isn't something that he did, but it is. He blames the Rangers mostly.
Yeah, he does. No, he blames the Rangers entirely.
Because he's like, you kids, you darn kids, and then Jason's like, "But Mr. Kaplan," and Kaplan's like, "But nothing. You're gonna clean this up," and it's like, hey Kaplan, right? So let's say what Kaplan is surmising here, because obviously in canon, in kayfabe, he knows that they didn't start it, or at least you would think it that he knows that. So like, but even if like he was just mad at them because they participated, and he didn't want to hear anything from Jason, and because Jason was about to speak up, and he was assuming that he was about to like lie to him, he gave him the mop and is like, "You fucking clean." But hey, Mr. Kaplan, like even if in the most malicious of ways, they did participate in the food fight and like have a good time on purpose, which they didn't. Even if they did do that,
no, Jason technically did, but the others did not. Jason
joined in an effort to stop it. Like, was like, maybe if I use my sausage chuck powers, I can stop this. But even if Kaplan was completely right about their intent, and they were just like part of the food fight and just like joining in on the chaos, they are his best kids. Like they're all like honor roll students. They're all like perfect saints. They all do amazing things.
No. They're not saints. They are masters of gaslighting. Every single fucking one of them.
Gaslight him once. That is true. But they're mostly like perfect little children. So I don't know that I would be going so hard on Jason specifically in this mess where a giant group is
No,
responsible.
I thought it was aimed at Kim.
Well, he hands the mop to Jason.
Well, yeah, he hands it to Jason, but it looked like he was throwing it to Kim and Jason caught it.
Maybe?
It looked like that to me, but that could have just been me focusing on Kim after the last episode.
Yeah, you just really like Kim after the last episode, so you're paying attention to what Kim's doing now.
Yeah.
So anyway, so Kaplan storms off, and then immediately Jason gets a call on his communicator. So the Rangers step over to the lockers. They answer the call. Zordon's like, "Come to the command center," and they go to the command center. They teleport there. And then we cut right to the Rangers just looking at Pudgy Pig on the viewing globe, doing stuff. And Kim calls him a pig, which, yeah, Kim, duh. Jason says that he needs to go on a diet, and Trini's like, "Will he ever stop?" And then Zordon explains that Pudgy Pig will continue to eat in perpetuum until he consumes the Earth's entire food supply, a feat which will only take him 48 hours. Listen, I get it.
Question.
He eats real fast. He does eat real fast, right?
No. I have a question.
Move across the entire Earth in 48 hours, can he?
No, he can.
I guess he can teleport. That's
no. You want to know why he can?
Why?
He has the powers of Santa Claus.
Shut up.
Santa Claus is a Mighty Morphin Power Ranger. If you fucking remember that from the comics.
The comics. I remember that from season 3 episode "I'm Dreaming of a White Ranger."
No, I'm talking about Santa Claus is a Power Ranger in the comics.
What the fuck? What?
Yeah, Santa Claus himself is a fucking Power Ranger.
All right, sure. Anyway, I don't want to hear about.
He has a reindeer Zord and everything.
Power Ranger. So that's going on. Kim's like, "Ew, gross. Pudgy Pig is gross." And then Alpha walks in. He's got a chef hat and a mixer and a spoon because we're doing Goofy Alpha thing today. He wants to help with the festival, and the Rangers are genuinely like, they smile and they're like, "Oh, thanks, Alpha." And then Zordon's like, "Save it for later. You got a pig to kill." So the Rangers morph. They go to fight Pudgy Pig. Oh, you posted a picture of Santa Ranger.
I forgot the one with his Zord. So
anyway,
I'm not kidding. This exists.
I believe you. I never didn't believe you.
I know. I'm gonna post that picture on my Twitter later.
But so they
for those in our audience that don't believe me.
They arrive to fight Pudgy Pig. Then Pudgy Pig just immediately jumps to the top of a building. And then the Rangers jump flip in pursuit. But they don't go quite as high as Pudgy is. They're still on a slightly lower part of the building. And then we cut to Rita for just 1 second so that she can yell attack. And then we cut back to the fight. Pudgy just kind of looks down at the Power Rangers for a second. And then Trini's like, "Come down here and fight us like a pig." So he jumps down. And then the Rangers equip their power weapons and they charge. Trini and Kim move to attack, but then Pudgy does a suck attack, and he ends up eating their weapons.
No, he does that.
He does do a he does a sucky. He gets the weapons, and then he kicks them away. And Trini's like, "Billy, get him while he's eating!" And then Billy jumps in with the power lance, but then he fails, and the power lance also gets eaten, and he kicks Lee away. Am I starting to cut out?
No.
Because I see my connection fluctuating. But
you're good.
We're fine.
At least on my end.
So that happens. Zach attacks him with his axe, which of course Pudgy also eats.
Wait, with his axe?
Oh my! Shut up.
No, that's what it sounded like you said. Actually, I was really confused.
I said axe. What did you think I said?
The axe.
Oh, I didn't hear. You said axe. All I heard was axe ? And I assumed the joke you were making is that it was the cosmic canon.
No, I thought you said the axe. I'm like, what? That's not what it's called.
So Pudgy eats the axe. Then we cut to Rita. Zach's axe. He eats the Zach's axe.
No, he eats the Zach's.
Shut up. Then we cut to Rita, gloating about Puggy, gloating about Pudgy eating the weapons. And then Finster's like, "Look how great my Pudgy pig is! I love my Pudgy pig because he's winning now." Which I love you, Finster. Just keep doing what you're doing, buddy.
I have a question.
Yeah, what's up?
So he ate all of their weapons, or like their individual weapons.
Sure.
Why didn't they just pull out the blasters?
Well, because then he just would have eaten them too.
But all they have to do is back up from him so that he can't get close to them and just go, pow.
The Pudgy Pig is pretty fast. I don't know if you noticed. I don't think you could just like...
Yeah, but he can't bite all 5 of y'all at the same time if you surround him.
That's fair. But anyway, so that's going on. Then we cut back to the fight, where Jason does his attack. But hey, guess what, guys? Pudgy eats the power sword. And then instead of just getting kicked away like the others, Jason does actually exchange a couple of blows with Pudgy. But then eventually Pudgy does knock Jason down. And then Pudgy does something.
I don't remember what he does.
That's something that Pudgy does. Makes all the Rangers get all disoriented and shit, and then like teleport to the ground to demorph. What? Huh? Pudgy?
I don't remember what he did.
And then Jason is like, "This is really weird," which I agree, Jason. It is very weird.
I was zoned out at this point of the episode because it's still off of the Ernie Riz, man.
And then he gets a call. He gets a call from Zordon, who's like, "Hey, while you guys were in Pudgy Pig's vortex, Pudgy Pig has a vortex powers. By the way, thanks for mentioning that earlier, Zordon." And then Pudgy makes his way to the food festival while they're in the vortex. And Zordon tells them that, so the Rangers are like, "Oh no, we gotta go!" And then they go back to the juice bar. Then we cut to the juice bar, and immediately, like, we don't even see Pudgy, like, enter the juice bar. We just cut to the juice bar, Pudgy is there, ripping shit up and eating, and there are just kids everywhere, like, running and screaming. And Bulk and Skull bump into Pudgy, and he does, like, a monster, like, menacing, I'm growling at you. And then Bulk just does, like, a pig nose and mocks him. But then he just like growls at them again, and this time it registers for them that he is a big scary monster, and they get scared and run away.
Yep.
Then Ernie's like, "Where are the Power Rangers when you need them?" And then he runs with the Hawaiian girls also with him.
Again, Ernie going to get some puss.
Of course. And then Puggy, I keep calling him Puggy instead of Pudgy.
He doesn't have no puss to be a Puggy, man.
So Pudgy's eating everything, but he rejects something. He's like, "No, I don't want that." And keep that in your pocket. And then he finishes up, he teleports away, and that's just as the last civilians leave, and just as the Rangers enter. And they're like, "Fuck, we were too late." And Zach's like, "Mr. Kaplan's gonna freak," which, Zach, there was a literal monster attack, and there are many witnesses to corroborate that. I think you're gonna get off fine with Mr. Kaplan. Like, I don't think Mr. Kaplan's wrath is really a factor you have to worry about when a literal monster attack occurred. But anyway, so Jason's like, "We gotta stop that pig!" And Kim's like, "But how, though?" And she's like, "They got our weapons. That's not good that they have our weapons now, because Pudgy Pig ate them. And we don't have those anymore now, because Pudgy Pig consumed them into his mouth." And then Trini's like, "Hey, I see something. Do you guys also see the thing that I see?" Then they just stand there in complete dumbfounded silence. They do not see the thing that she sees. So Trini leads them to the spicy table, which my favorite country, hot, is just what the sign says. Every other station's a country, and then you just have hot.
Well, yeah, of course you just have hot.
My favorite country, hot country.
No. You want to know why they did that?
Why?
It's like a safety precaution because certain people can't have spicy food because it can end up fucking with them like beyond what it should.
That's fair.
And the reason that they have this very clearly labeled is
several small hot signs instead of one big one.
Well, yeah, but
it's the hot signs on the hot foods.
Well, yeah, but it also helps to have them all under one like blanket thing that is very clear to see.
That's fair.
And it's a food thing.
Yeah.
It makes sense looking at it from like a why you wouldn't want people who don't. I'm gonna say people who don't know how to read, like Vulcan Skull.
Headcanon accepted. So
going up to the small ones and not being able to read.
Trini does notice that Pudgy did not touch the spicy table, and they're like, "Oh, he can't handle his spice. He's a pathetic little white boy who can't handle his spice." So Billy's like, "What if we lure him in with food, and then we make him eat one of these spicy radishes that we have at this spicy table?" And then Jason's like, "If we can make Pudgy sick, he'll throw up our weapons, and then we'll have our weapons back," which logically makes literally zero sense, as they would be partially digested by now. But hey, guys, guess what? Stay tuned.
Hey! You want to know what would have been even better?
What?
Giving him fucking what's it called?
I know it's not going to be good, but this better be good.
It's not good, but it makes more sense than giving him spicy food. I forgot what the word is. The only thing I can think of is lactate for some reason.
You mean like a laxative? Is what
yeah,
you're
that.
To make him
give him a fucking laxative so that he just shits them all out.
Oh my god. The fucking too lowbrow. Get out of here. You're fired. But anyway. So they're like, okay, we're gonna get our weapons back in this way that makes zero sense.
But the laxative makes more sense.
Also does not make sense for the same reasons. But anyway, they set off to execute the plan. Then we cut to Rita, who's gloating about how cool she is. And she calls for Finster, and Finster is not around. She's like, hey, Lunk, Babu, you seen Finster? And they're like, I don't fucking know.
I forgot what Lunk's actual name is at this point. I'm sorry.
Squad. I still know.
You know, because I don't, and you're just like feeding into the fact that I don't know by calling him Lunk.
Rita's like, Finster, and Finster doesn't hear her because he's too busy in his workshop, just so happy that one of his monsters is actually working and good. Which again, I love Finster. And then Rita's like, Lunk, Babu, go find Finster! And that's what happens. Then we cut back to Pudgy Pig. Pudgy Pig lands outside of a food packing plant, and he's about to go in there scrumming down. Then we go to the juice bar. Jason calls Zordon. He's like, hey, we figured out how to beat Pudgy Pig. Where that fool at? We're going to get him. And Zordon's like, he's at the food packing plant. And they're like, all right, it's morphin' time. And then they morph. They get there, they do their big pose where the power
morphin' time
behind them. And Pudgy's just kind of like sitting, and then he like burps a little bit, and he gets up and stumbles out to face the Rangers, which pretty good. And then they're like, hey, we got food for you. And then they have like a bunch of plates of food. They got like a cake. They got like a sushi's. And they throw.
Wait, hold up. Question.
What's up?
Who had the cake?
Kimberly did have the cake, I think. Which makes sense because she was carrying cake earlier. And also she has cake, as we established.
She has the cake. Was Trini also carrying melons this time, though?
Unfortunately, no. I think she was the one with the sandwich that we get in a minute.
Damn.
They all throw Pudgy some food. Pudgy's like, yeah, I love food, and then he's eating the food. And Trini's like, hey, here's this sandwich, and she throws him a sandwich. But in the sandwich is the radish, the spicy. So Pudgy Pig's like that, and he throws up a bunch of stuff, including the Rangers' weapons, entirely intact.
You want to know why they were entirely intact? I can give this a slight explanation.
What, like Pudgy Pig doesn't actually digest anything?
No, stomach acid is not strong enough to dissect certain, like, materials. It is acidic, yes, but it is not acidic enough to basically digest metal.
That's fair. What I believe is actually my headcanon, and I believe this is the only possible answer, is that much like Gluttony from Full Metal Alchemist, his stomach is actually just like a pocket dimension.
Yeah, probably. That also probably.
He doesn't actually digest anything, because when he's throwing up the weapons, he also throws up like pieces of sushi and like grapes and shit that are also fully intact.
Yeah, maybe.
I assume that his stomach is just like a pocket dimension. He actually doesn't digest anything. But anyway, so that he throws up all the stuff. He throws up all the weapons. The Rangers got their weapons back, and now Pudgy, he ain't feeling too good. He's deflated. He's wobbly. He's not looking good. And then the Rangers just beat on him with their weapons for a second, and then they form the power cannon and they kill him. No Megazord fight. They just shoot him and he dies.
Yeah, and Rita doesn't do the make my monster grow.
Which most times they kind of... I think most times the Power Blaster doesn't kill the monster and then she makes the monster grow. Last time they did explicitly kill the monster with the Power Blaster and she made the monster grow anyway. But the monster did have like discernible physical pieces that were left on the ground. So I guess my headcanon no prize is that if the monster is completely vaporized, she can't make it grow. But if the monster's one still alive, which is the ideal scenario, or two, there are still physical pieces of it left, she can make it grow.
My thought process is she can only make it grow if she wants to.
Yes, that's probably the more likely scenario.
She just didn't want to waste her time because she knew what was gonna happen at this point.
Honestly, probably more likely. So we cut to Rita. She blames Mister. She yells at everyone. Everybody yells. She's got a headache. We get it. Then Rita also, just completely separate from any current issues at hand, she does just tell Lunk and Babu to shut up, which I like.
Yes.
She's just like,
very much.
Mister, you ruined the plan. I hate everything. Hey, Lunk and Babu, shut up.
Yeah, we like Lunk and Babu, but we like
when they get told to shut up too. Also,
we like when they get told to shut up more.
We cut to the juice bar where the Rangers enter, and they're just like loudly, brazenly discussing their adventures as Power Rangers. And Zach does do a pretty sweet kick while he's recapping the events. And then Kim's like, "Hey, we did beat Pudgy Pig, but like, there's still this whole food festival that's ruined." And then Trini's like, "I hope we made enough money for the playground equipment." And then Zordon calls the Rangers, congratulates them for their victory. Alpha's like, "Hey guys, I figured out how to kill Pudgy Pig." And Jason's like, "Don't worry, Alpha, we got it already, but thanks though." And Alpha's like, "Well, I guess I don't need these sandwiches, one of which had a secret spicy radish in it because I had the same plan that you did. I guess I'll send you these sandwiches." And they're like, "Thanks, Alpha." And then Kaplan gets there. Kim's like, "Sorry about what happened." And then Kaplan's like, "I know the five of you aren't responsible," which is not what you implied earlier, Kaplan. But
finally,
I guess finally you understand.
What you implied in the hallway a couple episodes ago.
And then Kaplan's like, "We almost have enough money for the equipment, despite everything." And then Trini's like, "Hey, we make up some of the difference if you buy this sandwich, Mr. Kaplan." And then they're like, "The sandwich is $20," and Kaplan's like, $20, and they're like, "But the playground though." So he does buy a sandwich. And then Kaplan does grab the spicy sandwich with the radish in it, and Billy's like, "No, not that one," but it's too late, and he bites into the spicy sandwich. And he's like, "Oh no, it's so spicy. Water. Get me water right now." And then Kim gets him a big thing of water, which he like dumps into his mouth and rest of face also, because it's a lot of water. And then Kaplan like looks around for a minute, he like reorients himself, and then he's like, "A little hot, but not bad." And then everybody laughs.
Yeah, that's a little hot.
Bum bum bada bum 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 bum. That's Power Rangers, baby. So hey, let's go into final thoughts, because I came into this episode, right? Food fight, a very iconic episode of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. When you think about Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, food fight is one of the first things that comes to mind. And I obviously, because of that, had very positive memories of this episode. This is the episode I was talking about. I thought that I was going to want to put food fight at number 1. I did like food fight a lot. It is not better than Different Drum. I will say that right now.
So it is not.
We'll discuss where it's actually going to go in a few minutes. But it's not better than Different Drum.
Yeah. I knew one of them was going to be the new number 1. I didn't expect it to be the Kimberly Focus episode.
Yeah, maybe not.
But it's 100% is number one right now. It's going to stay that way for a little bit, probably.
But anyway, so I was thinking about who my favorite character is in this episode, right? And there are a couple.
Help me God, there's only one correct answer, and you know what that correct answer is.
I know you want to give it to Riz Ernie, and I get it. And he is one of the names that's on the possibility list. There's Riz Ernie. There's
Well, actually, there's 3 options in my brain, but none of them are for the correct reason.
Jason did do sausage chucks, and that was pretty rad.
No, it's not even Jason.
No, I'm going through my list of potential characters.
Oh yeah, your list. My list is fucking weird.
I kind of want to give it to Pudgy Pig because I do like Pudgy Pig a lot. He looks awful, but that's why you love him. The costume is the worst, but that's why it's the best, though. He's funny, silly. I love Pudgy Pig. But at the end of the day, I think there's one true MVP of this episode, in my opinion. Well, there's Ernie also. I agree with you. I know who you're going to say.
If you say Kimberly.
Ernie is a close second, but the real MVP of this episode, the one I just loved him. Every moment he was on screen was Finster. I just really liked Finster this episode.
That was my next guess. Is wait, it's either Finster or it's Zach.
So my favorite character this time is Finster. What's funny is I thought I was gonna end up. Finster's not a repeat. We haven't had any repeats yet. And I thought Food Fight was gonna be a repeat. Because I remember Trini being more important in this episode than she was, but I was wrong. So I gave it Trini in High Five. I thought I was going to give it to her again, but I misremembered how strongly involved she was. And
I forgot who I gave mine to in High Five.
I think it's Finster. You give it to Trini.
Wait, is High Five the episode I'm thinking about?
High Five is the episode where Trini's afraid of heights.
Ah, yep.
And you said
I don't know what that has to do with giving a high five.
Well, the joke is that they were high up, and there's 5 of them.
Oh, I did not get that joke.
But
I got way more jokes
in Food Fights Ernie
than I thought I was going to.
Is Ernie your real pick for favorite character?
It's between Ernie, Kimberly, and Trini.
Well, you gotta make that call, buddy.
We might get our first repeat then.
You're gonna say Kim?
I was debating on Kim because she's still riding high off of the last episode. But
well, don't be biased. Don't give her credit.
I know. I'm not trying to be biased, and that's why I'm more towards Riz Ernie. God damn, dude has the Riz to save the world. Yeah, it's going to Ernie. Sorry, Kim. Ernie did it better this episode, despite you having the best joke in this episode.
That's fair. And yeah, 6 episodes in, none of us have a repeat favorite character. So I guess I'll do a fun little recap so far because I said that. So for me, I said Jason for Day of the Dumpster, Trini for High Five, Alpha for Teamwork, King Sphinx for Pressing Engagement, Zach for Different Drum, and Finster for Food Fight. You said Zach for Day of the Dumpster, Trini for High Five, Alpha for Teamwork, Lunk for Pressing Engagement, Kim for Different Drum, and Ernie for Food Fight. So no repeats yet.
No repeats, yeah. Well, we have repeats between each other,
between the 2 of us, but not repeats individually.
Not repeats in and of ourselves. That's likely to change before the end of the season.
That's likely to change when a certain character gets introduced and I start giving it to him every other episode.
Well, yeah, but that's just because you have bias.
I probably won't give it to him as often as you think I will. I'll probably find other reasons to give it to other people. In fact, here's what I'm afraid of. I'm going to overcompensate and try not to be biased towards Tommy, and Tommy's going to end up being the one I give it to the least just because I'm afraid to give it to him.
No, you don't have to worry about that. Tommy's not going to get it very much on my list until season 3.
Well, hey, he does a lot of cool shit.
There's a decent amount of times that he will get it. I'm not saying that he won't get it a decent amount of times, but he will probably be the least amount of person aside from the new trio.
I think his best
season 3.
The thing is, I think his best time as a consistent every episode character is as the White Ranger.
Yeah.
But some of his best character arc stuff in certain episodes in a vacuum definitely happened when he was the Green Ranger. So
nah. I
Yeah,
might be missing
really
a
good
couple. I might be
characters.
missing a couple of those episodes, but
I mean, it's if you could think of an episode with the word green in the title, it's probably I'm talking about it, and for good reason because they're good episodes. There's Green
the
with
only one with
Evil.
the only ones with green in the title I can think of are Green with Evil and the Green Candle. So,
Green Candle, which is also very good. There's also Green No More, which is next season.
oh wait, yeah, I forgot about Green No More.
Very well known as my favorite episode of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
I keep combining Green No More and the Green Candle for some reason in my brain.
You did literally think that Green Candle and Green No More were the same episode.
Yeah, I did for like the longest time.
Even though at some point Zed, if that were true, at some point Rita is just switched out for Zed, and you did not question that at all.
No, I did not at all.
But yeah, we'll get there when we get there.
We'll
But
get there
favorite scene in Food Fight, you ask? You got one, Zach?
Favorite
Zach?
scene.
Your name
Holy
is wow.
shit.
Crow, you got one?
Favorite scene. There's two fucking scenes. There is two scenes, and you know exactly what two scenes I'm talking about. Wait, hold up. Those all count as like the beginning of the episode. So can I just lump those scenes together?
What do you mean? What scene?
The Kimberly and the Ernie bit.
I'm gonna need you to further clarify
Like,
for me.
The Ernie Riz, and then immediately after comes in Kimberly and Trudy. I just want to put that all as one scene.
We'll just say the Ernie Riz, because the Kimberly and Trini thing you like because of a contextual joke that's not even part of the episode. It's a joke that we made.
Yeah.
So,
well, yeah, it's just what we said, but like, you get my point.
yeah, I get
like,
you.
The Ernie Riz is the highlight of this episode.
For sure. But my favorite scene,
close second is Matador Zach.
My favorite scene is probably this is a weird one, right? Because it's just kind of like I kind of like some things about it. It's weird that I'm giving it to this scene, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Fuck you. It's the scene where Pudgy Pig destroys the juice bar and eats all the food. I just like seeing, like, first of all, a monster in the juice bar is a pretty rare sight, and it's pretty cool.
Well, yeah, I get that.
And second, he just like runs around and terrorizes everybody. Everybody's running and screaming. Bulk and Skull make fun of him at first, and then realize he's a big, scary monster that can kill them and run away, which is pretty good. It's just a very good scene. I like Pudgy Pig attacking the juice bar.
Yeah, it might just be because I got kind of desensitized to monsters being in the juice bar because of a certain movie that I've watched too many times at this point.
Let's talk about Food Fight. It is a good episode. However, I think my memories of it were a lot more positive than what it actually was. Yeah, I think immediately it clears teamwork and a pressing engagement without.
Oh, it definitely does. I say it also clears.
Does it clear high five? That's the first.
I'm not sure.
The next two are High Five and Day of the Dumpster. So is it better than High Five?
I don't think it's better than High Five.
But it feels so weird to put Food Fight that low, though.
I know. But I agree with you. It's like, it's not better than High Five, but it is better than Day of the Dumpster.
Yeah, I know you have your opinions on that. I think Day of the Dumpster contextually earns additional points to lead.
Well, yeah, like I'm talking about asides from the contextual.
But for the record, if we agree to put it above High Five, I will also put it above Day of the Dumpster. But I don't know.
That feels weird too, because that feels like we're putting those two too low.
No. I came into this show, like we started, I knew Food Fight was coming up week 3, and I'm like, okay, Food Fight's going to be number 1 until Green with Evil. And then High Five was better than I thought it was going to be, because a lot of people don't like High Five. I
love High Five. Fuck you.
High Five is pretty good. High Five is a lot better than I was expecting. And Different Drum came out of fucking nowhere. I didn't even remember this episode existed.
Which one?
The Drum.
The Drum? Yeah.
Yes, and that episode ended up being the best one.
Yeah, it is the best episode so far.
So I think... You see, there's something about how iconic of an image that Pudgy Pig is, and just like a lot of the fun stuff that happens in this episode. I think I'm willing to say it's better than High Five and Day of the Dumpster too. Just not.
Yeah. I'm leaning towards that as well, honestly.
Okay, so are we in agreement then?
Yeah, it's second. I don't like that High Five is so low.
Coming in at the new number 2. Well, the thing is, once this list has 50 things on it and High Five is still in like the top 10 or 15, it'll feel a lot better.
But right like now, at the moment, it just feels so weird because we've liked so many of the episodes in like really weird ways.
Yeah, but there's only 6 of them on the list. They have to be ranked somewhere. So like, I think number 2 is a good place for Food Fight. So coming in at number 2, Food Fight.
Food Fight. And keeping its reign as number 1, The Drum. I fucking love it. As I opened with this, that is my favorite episode of season 1 so far, and I doubt something is going to take away that spot for a little bit.
Bro, I thought you were gonna end the sentence there, and I was gonna be like, you really don't think Green with Evil's gonna take that spot?
No, Green with Evil might. That's like specifically Green with Evil. I think it's part 5 might.
Well, we're ranking Green with Evil as one entity as we are all multi-parters, but
yeah, I know. I'm just saying, but I'm pretty sure if anything does derank my opinion on the Drum episode, it will be Green with Evil part 5 specifically.
Episodes of season 1 that stick out to me. Like there's Food Fight, obviously, which we just got through, and Green with Evil, which we're getting to. Obviously Green Candle also. Doomsday might be pretty good, maybe. It was made to be like the finale of Power Rangers, so like it
I don't remember that episode.
It holds some weight there. And then there's the episode on Fins and Needles, which I really like. I think that's near the end of season 1. There's Two Heads Are Better Than One, which I think I just like for silly reasons and actually won't rank that high. There's one more I'm not thinking of that's very glaring that I'm missing in my head right now. I know there's one season 1 episode in particular that I like a lot.
The only episode that I can think of for whatever reason right now that you have not said is Buddy on the Brain, but I know for a fact that is season 2
episode.
Yeah, the season 1 episode, Putty on the Brain, my favorite episode of season 2.
The fuck is the episode that I'm thinking of?
I don't know.
Oh my god, I don't know.
Also, on another note, I would like to commend ourselves. We have, for the most part, stayed under 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
we have stayed roughly under 2.5 hours.
We are still under it. For the next 2 minutes, we'll be under it. But I do want to remember what episode we're talking about, so maybe we'll go just over it as I think about that.
Yeah, but that's not very much a problem. We're close enough that it doesn't really matter.
I know there's an episode. I know there's one that I'm missing. I know there's one that I was going to say that I had on the tip of my tongue that I was going to say.
Here, read off episode titles to see if you recognize which one it is.
Sure.
Okay, hold on. Let me pull up episode titles. In season 1. Okay. Day of the Dumpster, High Five, Teamwork, Oppressing Engagement, Different Drum, Food Fight, Big Sisters.
You can actually just skip anything before Green with Evil, because I know it's after Green with Evil.
I feel like Happy Birthday Zach should be on that list as well, though.
Happy Birthday Zach is an interesting episode. I don't know if I'd call it good based on what I remember. But
Green with Evil, the Itsy Bitsy Spider, Trouble with Shell Shock, The Spitflower, Life's a Masquerade, Gung Ho, Wheel of Misfortune.
I was not thinking about Life's a Masquerade or Gung Ho. Neither of those are the answer, but those are also ones I'm looking forward to.
Wheel of Misfortune, Island of Illusion.
Not that one.
The Rockstar. Calamity Kimberly, I am looking forward to. I don't know why.
I forget what that actually is. I know the name Calamity. Where I know the name Calamity Kimberly from is that's what she calls herself in Wild West Rangers later on. But there is an episode called Calamity Kimberly in season 1. I could not tell you what it's about.
It is episode 31 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 1. Then there's A Star is Born, The Yolks on You, Green Candle 1 and 2, Birds of a Feather, Cleanup Club, A Bad Reflection on You, Doomsday Part 1 and 2, Rita's Seed of Evil, A Pig's Surprise. Why do I feel like the food fight monster's gonna come back?
Wait, I know what episode I'm thinking of. You haven't said the name yet, but you'll get there in a minute. The Pumpkin Wrapper episode of Season 1. That's what I'm thinking of.
You talking about Trick or Treat?
Yep, that would be the one.
54.
So yeah,
I don't know why I forgot that episode because god damn it, that pumpkin wrap was so goddamn fucking catchy.
Yeah, listen, we'll get to Pumpkin Wrapper in due time. He's a good
I hope
friend.
we end up covering that on Halloween.
I don't think we will. I don't know if
I don't think we will, but I hope that we will.
In fact, I think we will be finished with Season 1 by the time October rolls around, so I don't think so.
Maybe, but
will we?
Do we have Halloween plans?
No, we're not doing holiday specials on this show because I'm not fucking up the order of episodes to do like the Christmas.
No.
Or
late or whatever. I wasn't meaning Halloween specials based on the seasons. I was meaning like how. I'll tell you about it after we get done.
Like if we do something special for Halloween, like maybe we will, but I don't know.
Yeah, like
there's a couple monster in it. You can always tie Power Rangers into Halloween because there's always a monster in it.
Well, yeah, but there's some other Halloween-esque stuff that I would like to try if we could eventually.
Okay, well, I guess we can workshop that. But
right, mostly because Halloween is my favorite holiday and was one of my friends' favorite holidays.
Yeah, Halloween's pretty sick. It is the day you get free candy, and that's always
that.
Cool.
And you also get to spook little 9-year-olds in the middle of the night.
True.
Why is the last season of Season 1 called an oyster stew?
Because Power Rangers did not learn how to do satisfying season finales until Season 3.
I thought Blue Ranger Gone Bad was good.
I don't know about. Yeah, it was a decent episode of Season 2, but I don't know about it being a good finale.
I don't remember that being the finale. I remember Storybook Rangers being the finale. I'm not sure
Rangers
why.
Definitely not the finale. Wild West Rangers was supposed to be, but they.
Then why did they make Blue Ranger Gone Bad? Never mind.
That something happened. I don't know. Something fucked up in the airing order. Now it is considered gospel that those two episodes are the way that they are. However, I do believe Wild West Ranger was developed under the idea that it would be the finale of Season 2.
Yeah, it makes sense for Wild West Ranger
more satisfying finale than Blue Ranger Gone Bad, but still not very still not definitive in any way. Like talking about season finales for Power Rangers shows that have multiple seasons. I don't really count the super seasons usually as their own things, just because it literally is just Nickelodeon will only give them 20 episode seasons and they want to make 40 episode seasons. So instead they just make 20, they just make 2 20 episode seasons, but what they're actually making is 1 40 episode season. But they are technically split into 2 seasons. And I did just watch the finale of Dino Charge regular style. And that felt like a real definitive conclusion to something while also building onto something else, which is what the finale should feel like in a season like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, in a show like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers that has multiple seasons. Something significant should occur in the finale of a season, but not so unless you're Season 3. That was the only one that actually did a finale, and you kind of have to, considering it's the end of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers in general.
And then Turbo also did that as well.
Well, I'm talking about Mighty Morphin specifically. After that, they started doing finales.
I was talking about the ones that build off of each other from Mighty Morphin.
Zeo didn't really have a finale either.
Didn't really have a finale. Turbo had a damn good finale.
Every season, Turbo onward has a finale that is actually a finale. Whether it's good or not is a separate question, but at least it's actually crafted to be a finale.
Yeah. Okay.
But all right.
What else we want to say about the episodes or anything?
No, we're good. We're gonna get out of here. So Crow, where can our listeners find you?
Twitter @CrowRoyalty.
Let's go.
I will also be posting random pictures of random things that I bring up on fucking podcast.
I will just say, Crow, if you really want to keep your other account secret from the public, you should probably private it because you do.
I'm going to
constantly tag me and shit, and your account is probably pretty easy to find.
Yeah, probably, but I forgot to private it. And on another note, I post random shit that I talk about on here.
Nice.
Randomly. Do what? Last week's post ended up being a video of Jason Narvi from 2013.
Fair. I know. I saw it. But
yeah.
Folks, you could find me in a lot of places, and those are all now easily congregated for you. If you go to twitter.com/RielyTweets, look at the pinned tweet. There's a link tree. It's got all my stuff. And also the link tree is in the description of this podcast too. So you just click on it right down there. If you don't want to visit the middleman that is Twitter, you can just click on the thing in the podcast description. And that's it. So thank you for listening to Megazord Radio. I've been Riely.
I have been Grow.
And now do a 3, 2, 1 count in your head. Let's see if we can get this right.
For the first time ever.
Well, you already didn't because I was doing the count in my head as you said for the first time ever. So
I didn't realize you were. I'm sorry.
It's morphin' time. Not even a little. All right. I guess I have to do it out loud.
I'm sorry.
Eventually, I won't have to do this out loud. But 3, 2, 1.
It's morphin' time.